Hey guys, it's Dirk the Red Panda here, and we're doing password. I decided to change things up a little bit and kind of, you know, put in, mix things up a little. What's the phrase? I can't say it. But yeah. I mean, I've done 3 Far Beyond the World, or no, only 2, jeez. It's like it's all going by so fast, but I've done 2 Far Beyond the World updates so far, and I wanted to take a little break from that because password updated, and gotta keep up with password too. I mean, those games are just updating fast. Like, it's unbelievable for me, like somebody who just reads these as like a part-time hobby thing, and for these creators to be doing it full-time and like making these updates like monthly and just hammering them out. It's like, wow. Gotta give them credit for that. Gotta give them props. I hope I don't have anything in my mouth because I was eating some of those Nutella sticks before starting the stream. I was kind of running late with dinner. I had my regular dinner meal, but turned out I didn't proportion my leftovers well enough for tonight, and so I didn't have that much to eat. So I was like, okay, might as well add like 1 or 2 of those little Nutella stick packs. Pretty good though, by the way. If you guys love them. Not sponsored by them, just saying. They just taste good. Also gonna rinse my mouth out. Gotta clear my throat out so I can read this as well as I can. Oh, hola from Espanol. Oh, hola from Spain. Or wouldn't it be España? Oh, hi in Spanish. Okay. It could be anywhere that speaks Spanish. Okay. But yes, hola in Spanish. Or hi in Spanish. Whatever. My brain's dead. Ah. It's only been 10 minutes. Helix Master, hello. Quan, hello. Billy Bob Joe, hello. Sideways. I like the sideways profile pic. Nice. Tendo was the first. Nope, Super Bob was the first, but Tendo was second, so hey to those guys. And Amaril's back as usual. Okay, I'm Mexican, yeah. So, I meant to say like Spanish-speaking countries, but yeah. I guess hello from Mexico, but hi in Spanish. Either way. So, getting back to the topic at hand, this update is update 28, but I decided to kind of let go of the bad, like, crazy day, like 12 or 13 or whatever, like C or D routes, because it's just too much on my hands, and you guys can always play it, if you want to, and I'm trying to go personally for like the best routes I can, and I don't want to overwhelm myself with, like, there's 6 routes in this game, and so Tyson and Dean is already enough on my hands, so we're gonna be doing Tyson at least tonight, and if we have time for Dean, like if there's a bunch of overlap between all the updates in terms of common events, we'll probably play through Dean's like unique bits, I guess, for the update if that's the case. Oh, Light is here too. Evening all. Do you have the tea ready, like you did last stream? Oh god, we need a Tyson pog. But none of you guys want to go on to Twitch. Like, I'm not gonna be like that one Twitch streamer chick that like hated on her entire like fans because they couldn't afford to give her stuff. No, I'm not gonna do that BS. But yeah, I mean, YouTube doesn't have emotes or whatnot. Like, we can't do like pog in the chat or anything like that, unfortunately. So I tried thinking about moving over to Twitch. Like, I'm doing the D&D stuff on every other Sunday there, at least. Also gonna try and add Wolfstar, Sins in Paradise. Kind of do that as more of a laid-back, chill-back, after-dark type of stream. But yeah, for the most part, I'm gonna be doing kind of your mainstream stuff that I don't have to make 18 plus as my live stuff, because you guys like to donate live for some reason a lot. It's like, I guess that's very nice of you guys to do, but yeah, so it's like, I wouldn't be able to do that if I make a video 18 plus. And so it's like, you know, if the content gets to be 18 plus, then it's like, of course, I'll change it during the stream. But most of the time, the events that happen aren't worth 18 plusing the video. But yeah. Will the next stream be Tennis Ace? I'm not gonna be doing it on Twitch. Like, Tennis Ace, I'm gonna probably move back to YouTube. That was just a one-time kind of testing things out type of thing. So, Tennis Ace hasn't been updated besides the Case K update that I just played. So, there's that. The only other thing that should update soon, hopefully, is Kimia. Like, that one's been in the works for a while, and the patrons got update too, so in due time, the public will get the update. So that one I'd play next if I'm not cramming in Far Beyond the World to get up to date with. That and Wolfstar Sins of Paradise, but that's, like I said, that's a Twitch thing for me, which I'll upload to YouTube after I do the videos. That is the tea, or the water that I just drank. But in regards to what's happening today, we are going to be doing day 15, so let me... I can't move windows. Oh my god, my windows are stuck. There we go. I'm going to the load button. And once again, I have it on the big screen. I decided to put the VNs on my big screen monitor when I'm at my home instead of like my parents' home when I'm not with my TV and all. But yeah. Passwords on the big screen, baby. Oh my. Oh, wow. I don't know what all of this means. What does it mean? Well, I mean, I know what days and paths mean, but I'm assuming that I'd have to like either replay or whatever to get all that like stuff to be properly reading. I know the feeling of that as a GUI and VN dev type of stuff. Here we go. So yeah, that's strange. It doesn't say any of the routes, like even though I've actually on specific routes or paths. Like either way, I'm kind of shocked. No, I didn't just start. I'm on like day 15, so trying to remember where the heck I am because, oh my goodness, this totally throws off the pages that I was on. Oh my goodness, my head's gonna hurt from this new look. Like, I love it, but this totally threw me for a loop for how I saved things in the past. Oh god, help. Day 11. God, where the heck is my last save? I'm sorry, guys. I'm just... Oh, man. How could I be this lost? Oh, okay. This should be it, at least for Tyson. I don't know where Dean's is. Oh, God. This totally changed the things, because I named my saves and all. Ah! See you, Emerald. Yeah, I know that feeling when you have to catch up. Oh my goodness, why do I not know any of this? Ah, God, this is totally throwing a wrench in my day. This is my most recent save, but... Oh, thank God, I think. Thank God. Maybe thank God? 12. I'm trying to find where my Tyson one is. I would cry if I lost my Dean save for this. Or worse yet, that I didn't even do Dean's version, because day 14 I think is the same for everybody, but hopefully I gave a separate save for it. Oh no. I would just cry if I lost my save. Like, this is the worst feeling I've ever had to try and scavenge through all my saves. Like, this totally throws off my save pages. Like, if you load them resave, yeah, that will help, but, God. This is just... Yeah, I'm gonna go to this one. No, wait. Not that one. I'm trying to go to the one that... There we go. I'm gonna go with this one and resave. Okay, so I'm gonna... Save. Day 15, the path is unknown. That's gonna be kind of odd. It's not telling me any of the paths, so this doesn't help. And they do have a super skip button. This could be an opportunity to reorganize my saves, but I don't even know where to start. Oh no, I mean to load the game at this part. Okay, let me see. This is day 11, so that's the alternate C route that I'm discontinuing for my channel. Oh my god, I just wish it would tell me which path I was on. Oh, the color of the save tells you which character route. God, I wish it could tell me what the colors mean. Could someone give me a help button or a help menu? Oh, crap. I'm gonna go back to the main menu and figure this out. And I'm just gonna mark this down as 16-minute mark. This saves got changed! Exclamation mark. Just so you guys know. Blue is Tyson, brown is Dean. Okay, thank you for that. I wonder if they tell you that anywhere, but they have the dramatics, the illustrations. I have, oh god, it's in white font. 31, I think, 32 out of 53 of the CGs. Yeah, that's the one thing I'm kind of missing, is that they don't have like a help setting to indicate that, but... Okay, so we have Dean there. I just wondering where the hell I saved Tyson, because that's the one I'm trying to play today.
Super chat.
Thanks, Perpy, for donating $1 to make me feel better. I appreciate it. Like... I don't mean to make this like sound like all doom and gloom, but I'm just like, my mind's just still trying to wrap its head around of what I'm even doing. Okay, where the heck's the save? Day 14. Oh, I think we did it, boys. Okay, from now on...
Super chat.
From now on, page 6 is going to be Tyson. Page 8 is going to be Dean. Oh my goodness, the day has been saved. We have been saved by the colors. I really like the aesthetic of them. Like, god dang. I'm going to have to poke Grizzly to ask him about how he did this, so in the future maybe I can change my GUI layout. But okay, we're gonna skip through day 14. We're gonna have some traumatic flashbacks to what happened over the course of day 14, and then get to day 15. Return.
Super chat.
I hit the wrong button, and I'm getting spammed with 1, 2, 3 super chat donations that are $1 each from Perpy. Okay, we are going to skip through things. I wonder what the super skip does. I might regret this. Oh, that's skip to the next choice. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that yet, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna keep skipping. We're gonna have our nostalgic moment of getting Chinese food, I think, or chicken wings. We got something. We got takeout. Tragedy happens. We console Dave. Don't worry, you can use this as a mini break to get comfortable. Okay, so we're gonna start at the 25-minute mark for the actual reading, now that I figured things out. And day 15, perfect. We did it, boys. That's all I got today, Dirk. I appreciate the $3. Don't matter. $3 is $3 to me. I mean, I just managed to figure out the whole payment system stuff with Google and whatnot, and now my payout for it is pending because they have to review my tax stuff. Which, like, it isn't like I did anything like wrong. It's just they take like days and up to like I think a week or two to review it. So yeah, now I'm in more suspense on if I'll get paid soon. So that'll be fun. All right, 30 seconds, guys. I'm going to put my keys away because I was looking through the mail today for anything. Back in a sec. That was an interesting combination. Alright, so what I just did was I got the game mug back. The game mug is back. It's always a password tradition to have the game mug and to sip from it whenever Dave sips from his coffee. So I ran out of my usual drink when I was pouring it in, so I mixed it in with some Gatorade, so fun. So we're going to start in 10 seconds. I'll let the description know that. Let us mark this that we are starting at 27 minutes. We are starting. Negative 5 seconds. Alright, I just like rounding to the nearest minute because it sounds nicer. Here we go. Starting day 15. Starting day 15. Now. Here we go. And no worries, Perpy. Glad that you could even do what you can. Even nothing is fine for, yeah. Just having you guys here is great, so let's start. When I opened my eyes, I knew I was dreaming again. Part of me wondered why I was still having dreams this vivid, but I didn't mind too much. At least, not yet. I sat up in my bed, looking around my room. Seeing it again made me wonder how I'd feel once I got back home. An ache in my chest reminded me that Dad wasn't there. But maybe Mom would be. Tyson would be there for sure. I could still hear his voice in my ear, calling me brother, hugging me tight and just being there for me. The memory of him talking to Dad before he went to work lingered through, wondering if now I'd be considered old enough to finally know what sort of stuff they had to talk about. Finding myself downstairs, I looked around the room. I wanted to see Ty again. Not that it was that much of an ask given he was elsewhere in the same house, but I felt a longing that I hadn't been able to shake. Ty! Oh, magic! Here he is. Looking over to the sofa, I saw him sitting there looking stiff. Not that he seemed to be paying much attention or much mind, but just seeing him put me at ease. What? I frowned, realizing the problem with what I was seeing. I just wanted to see you, I think. You dork. I huffed, collapsing on the sofa next to him. Or more accurately, I seemed to float down next to him, so I was sitting again. Tell me something, Dream Ty. What? You love me, right? Maybe. Would you tell me if I asked? Probably not. Right. Yeah. That makes sense. Sighing out, I rubbed my eyes. Can we talk? In the morning, I mean. What do you think? I'd like to think you'd want to talk to me. Then guess you'll have to see me in the morning. Everything slowly faded to an inky black, my mind settling back into unconsciousness so I could rest. By the time I awoke, I felt different. Not better or worse, just different. I wasn't even sure if I felt rested, but I knew at the very least I didn't want any more sleep. Taking a shower to wake myself up properly, I dressed in some fresh clothes and headed on downstairs. As I hit the stairs, I ran into Oswin, just about to head down himself. Morning. Yeah. Good morning. We descended the stairs in silence, and once we reached the bottom, I fumbled for what I wanted to say. Are you upset with me? He froze in his tracks, turning slowly to face me. Should I be? Well, the needle and the bottle. I have questions, to say the least, but now's not the time for that. Then, later? Of course, later. You have enough on your plate as is, although I will say I expect answers. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. But I have some questions too about... well, that. What kinds of questions? You said we're not getting into that now, but just be ready for me to ask some questions too. Very well. When the time comes, I'll be sure to collect you for a little chat. Okay, I'm gonna quickly do a little break, just to mention this, but Okay, so what I was going to say is, like, I saw Perpy's comments like coming in, and the thing is, you weren't there when I mentioned this, like you came in late for it, but from now on, I'm gonna basically have segments for when I address the chat. So when I have segments in my table of contents in the description for when I'm reading, I'm gonna be reading. And then once I get to like a scene break where I can kind of cut from the flow of the story, I can address the chat for a bit, mark that in the comments, and then get back to the reading. And yeah, just so that if you're not watching this live and you just want to hear the reading and don't want to hear all the side talk, you can just, yeah, you can basically just see the golden bits, I guess, or whatever you call them. Perpy said, hey, is there possibly in your next stream that I can do a thing that you did in Chronos, that he and you joined Discord chat and played tennis ace last week? I don't know if I'm gonna get to that point. I don't think I'm gonna like put people in like Discord subs while I do that. That was just a one-time special thing with him, just as we worked out Twitch, because he was like my mod for Discord, and you know, thinking about possibly doing maybe more stuff with him related to like Twitch in the future. But yeah. So just so you guys know, don't poke me while I'm constantly reading in the middle of the scene. If there's anything I can like pause for or whatnot, I'll do that, and yeah, mention that in the description timing. But yeah, I'm trying to be less like tangential or less ranty in my videos, so that's why I want to be like more direct with that. Like I see other channels where it's like they do the reading more consistently without taking breaks, and yeah, I don't want to just be a ranting like channel or whatnot. Like I'll have my reactions and whatnot to the stuff, but yeah, just trying my best to keep the flow of the story. The breaks, okay, I forgot to mention that, then I'll get back to the reading, but the breaks are going to be about either every half hour or when like a scene specifically changes. Not just like, oh, I walked into the other room while the scene's happening, but like, oh, we just finished having breakfast, now we're going to lunch or the middle of the day or whatever. Then I'll take a break. So big scene transitions or medium to big scene transitions, I'll take breaks for, or every half hour. Might push that half hour a little more depending on how much the flow of the story is going. So this was just a bit of an exception because we just got started and we kind of changed scenes from like waking up. I should have done it earlier, but whatever. Okay, so 36:30, we're gonna start again. All right, 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Together, we made our way into the dining room, splitting off as I sat down with the others already at the table. Good morning. I turned to Sal, Roswell, and Haas, all seemingly unsure of how to answer. Roswell nudged both Haas and Sal before shooting me a quick smile.
Oh, morning, Dave. Sleep all right?
Yeah, I slept. I can relate.
That's good, right?
You... Did you need to sleep more? You could go back to bed if you wanted.
Right, especially with yesterday being so...
He gestured with his hands, filling in the rest of his sentence. If you guys didn't know yesterday, if you need a recap, that was the one where Dave kind of had a breakdown flashing back to how he got the news that his dad died. Continuing. I think I'm good for now at least. Just need to wake up some more and have something to eat. Maybe gift some coffee in your gay mug. Not gonna drink from it yet because he hasn't taken a sip from it yet. The mug is not canon at the moment. Oh, you name it, and I'll make it. Honest.
Maybe just give him some space, Orlando. He's right there. He can speak for himself. Just trying to be thoughtful.
It's okay, really. I don't know. Sighing out, I shook my head.
Don't worry, I've got this. Sit tight, Dave.
You just see Tyson just trying to beat up everybody. He's like, I got this. No, Ty, it's okay. What I really want to say is... sorry.
You have nothing to apologize for.
Well, to be fair, he kinda does, but... I'm not one of those T channels. But that's for later. I'm sorry for making everyone worry. And that I've... well... There was silence all around when I trailed off. Breathing in deep, I resolved myself to admitting that I was, or what I was sorry for, without a prompt from someone else. I'm sorry I've been a shitty friend.
We're just glad you're alive.
Which, all things considered, about what happened, well...
Alright, maybe let's not do this over breakfast. He hasn't even had coffee yet.
My gay mug's off to the side. Despite me saying that I was able to manage, Ty got up and wandered off towards the kitchen, presumably to get me something to drink. Oh, right, a breakfast. Hang tight, Dave. I'll go make you something. Before I could get a word in edgewise, as opposed to lengthwise or whatever, he was hot on Tyson's heels and disappeared into the kitchen much the same. Is it alright if we just take today slowly? Oh, this is gonna be a long update? No, I'm kidding.
Well, yeah, of course. I didn't have any plans after yesterday.
Most of us were just...
waiting for me?
Didn't seem right to go planning anything after you passed out. After we made sure you were comfortable in bed, we just sort of sat around sharing stories.
mostly any nice memory we had of you. Just try to lift the mood a little.
Benson's been on near constant lookout for that. Well, who he saw in the woods.
I nodded slowly, the image of Jack flashing through my head. We're not gonna think about that. Oh god, no, he is thinking about it. Stop it, Dave, stop it! Run! Run as fast as you can! My hands went to my head, and I cowered in my chair. I hear his voice echoing through my head like I was back out of the woods. No! And I couldn't even do a good Jack impression. No! No! I'm safe! Oh god, he's there! No! No. I shut my eyes tighter, trying to block him out, but he was there. I flinched when I felt something touch my shoulder, fearing that I was backed up against the tree again with his knife in my throat. Just give up, Dave. Let whatever happens, happen.
Dave!
Oh god, Tyson. I was trembling on the back of the floor with Ty holding me over steady. I was breathing hard, still reeling from the thoughts of Jack, and my eyes were damp. Ty! I sat up and clung to him, heart beating rapidly in my chest. Just as tightly as he held on to me, he guided me back to my feet and eased me back down into the chair so he could pick up the one that had fallen out of.
Alright, who was it?
Well, me, but...
Snarling, Ty advanced on Rosso, but was caught off by the scruff.
That's enough. He didn't mean it, Tyson.
Shrugging Sal off him, Ty grumbled as he threw his hands up.
Fine. But give him a chance to recover first.
Sorry. I didn't realize it'd provoke a reaction like that so... easily.
He's... not around, is he? There was silence again, broken only by the sound of Orlando setting something down on the table. Broken out of my trance, the smell hit me immediately, causing me to rise at the sweet scent. Oh, sweet coffee. Oh, never mind. Butter, cinnamon, and maple syrup. Oh my god, you're making me want breakfast now. Stop it, I just ate dinner. At first, I thought waffles before I took another breath through my nose. French toast? Yeah, I know you like eggs, so... I guess French toast, because technically... I mean, I know French toast technically uses eggs to make it. That's one heck of a jump. That is one huge jump to conclusions, Orlando. I know you like eggs, so... I must have pounced on it a little too eagerly, almost inhaling it and barely savoring the rich goodness as it coated my tongue. Dave, consume French toast.
Slow down or you're gonna choke.
The second piece was midway to my mouth before I paused, looking around at the others. Sorry, I guess I'm just hungry. I'm gonna go make some more then. Anyone else want any? A couple of hands went up and Ty shook his head.
Give whatever I'd have to Dave.
Alright, sure. I'll be back again.
I'll go make myself useful. Be back soon.
The two of them wandered off towards the kitchen and I resumed shoveling food into my mouth. If this isn't an accurate description of me in real life, I don't know what is.
I had a question
For who?
for Dave.
Sure. What's the question?
What would you like to do today?
Well... I mean, Bobo's Absurd Adventure Part 6 is out. Oh my goodness, I'm not gonna keep referencing that show on this. Nothing anime has happened yet in this update, so I can't say it yet. I don't have a boyfriend, Gideon. That's the only comment I'm going to address as I quickly look and go back to the reading. Well, I thought about it, brow furrowed. The options the mansion gave us seemed to be a bit fair, but then again, the thought of going outside was sending shivers down my spine. The only thing I had in mind really was talking to Oswin. He had questions for me, and I had some for him as well. Repeat day 8. I wanted to know more about what I'd found, plus where I went and what it all meant. This was his home, so he was bound to know more about what was surrounding it, right? I haven't really thought about it. Just Just something later with Oswin, really.
I see. Well, perhaps it would be best to just take it easy today. Rest days are important.
Plenty to do inside anyway. Maybe we can have another movie night as a group. Bobo's Absurd Adventure Part 6 is coming out tonight.
Ty must have noticed I was frowning before I realized I was doing it, poking me suddenly.
Stop frowning.
I'm not frowning. You're frowning. I was just thinking.
Right, well. How's a movie day sound?
Maybe? In reality, I didn't really want to be around a bunch of people. I still felt ashamed for the past few days and wanted some time to think about what was about to happen next. Was I still broken? I felt better and worse at the same time and didn't know how to really know if that was normal.
Then, what did you want to do?
Sleep, maybe. Or just lay down? Ty looked at me carefully, eyes narrowing for a moment before he seemed to clue into how I was feeling.
Alright.
I opened my mouth to say something and then shut it again, wondering how best to approach what I wanted to talk to him about given the dream I had. Not to mention things from the past couple days. If there was any hope of me finding out what he and Dad talked about, I'd have asked him differently, or directly actually. If there was any hope of me finding out what he and Dad talked about, I'd have to ask him directly. That's assuming he even remembered. But can I let you know later? After breakfast, maybe?
I think that should be fine. I wouldn't mind watching a movie, assuming Haas isn't using the television upstairs.
Better yet, why don't we watch something together? Might find something that we both like. Or Bobo's Absurd Adventure Part 6.
This is just going to end up in anime again, right?
The moment you find something better than anime to watch, let me know.
Eventually, we all settled in for more French toast, and I finally got myself some coffee. Something about it tasted different. Like it wasn't coffee at all. Not bad, but different. Maybe different was just a new feeling I was going to have to get used to. Everyone seemed intent on eating. Everyone seemed intent on focusing on eating, except for Tyson, who slid his plate over to me. He didn't even seem to look at me as he did, instead fiddling with his phone while he drank his coffee. Actually tastes pretty dang good. With my belly full, I yawned. There was nothing like a good meal, and breakfast was a good reminder of it. Standing there in the foyer, I stretched out after Orlando had offered to take my plate from me, and I looked around. For an entrance hall, it was quite big. To the point, it almost seemed wasteful of the space. But the house I lived in was fairly open as well, so maybe it was just something that I wasn't used to? Wandering over to the back door, I felt my fur tingle the closer I got. My eyes were locked on the world on the outer side, on the other side of the door, and I couldn't bring myself to cross the last few steps to reach the handle. I found myself standing there, fiddling with my hands and my tail tucked between my legs. Not that I wanted to go outside anyway. But there was that fear, actually. But there was that fear that Jack was waiting just out of sight in the trees. As I turned away from the back door, I noticed Ty lingering a bit back near the stairs, just watching me. He didn't say anything to indicate he was there. Instead, just watching. Waiting maybe for me to say something first. I can't do it. Go outside, I mean.
Did you even want to?
Maybe? Probably not. I just... I shrugged, skittering towards Tyson before I continued. I'm scared. I'm scared?
No shit, you're scared. Don't think anyone would blame you either, pup.
He cut himself off, scratching the fur on the back of his neck.
What I mean is, I don't. Just don't go wandering out there without telling someone. Don't go out there without telling me, alright? Almost lost you once.
Sorry. He approached and carefully wrapped me up in another hug. Brief, but after a tight squeeze, I felt a little better.
What are you doing out here by yourself?
Just thinking, really. I don't really know how I should be feeling, but everything feels different now. Not like a bad different or a good different, but just different. Ty didn't seem to understand, instead just frowning as he watched me in silence. What I mean is that I'm wondering if I'm still me, I guess. Or what that even means after this past year and a half.
This is why you bailed before you could let me know if you were watching shit with Sal and Haas.
I blinked, having already forgotten that I'd said that. My bad?
No shit. Good to know you're slowly getting back to normal.
I don't think I really want to be around a bunch of people today. I feel embarrassed after yesterday still. He turned to go and I grabbed him quickly by the arm. But, can we hang out today? Just the two of us?
Alright. What do you want to do?
I didn't get that far. But at the very least, I had a dream last night that I want to talk to you about.
What kind of dream?
Not a bad one, just... I don't know. One that made me want to talk to you about stuff? He sighed, rolling his eyes.
If this is what I think it's about, then I don't really want to rehash what we've already talked about.
I nodded slowly, dropping my head away. I understand. I'll go find someone else to just hang out with to keep my mind off of it. Tyson's eyes narrowed. I couldn't tell if it was because he was thinking something over or just because he was suspicious of if I was going to pull a fast one on him. Groaning, he threw his hands up before lazily letting one of them land casually on my shoulder.
Fine. We'll have that talk again. But I fucking swear, Dave, this better be the last time.
I can't promise that. My reply came fast enough that it made Tyson flinch, looking at me carefully. There are so many things I barely understand, and sure, I could probably ask Dean or Orlando or Roswell or literally anyone smarter than me to explain them. Breathing in deep, I continued, shutting my eyes so I didn't lose my resolve and just saying what I needed to get off my chest. But they're not my family. They're not you. Not only that, but because some of these things are directly about you, that I don't want other people, or don't want what other people think when I could ask you about how you feel. When I opened my eyes again, Tyson looked shell-shocked, going to say something every other second, but fumbling over what specifically he wanted to say back. So, until I understand, I'm going to keep asking you. At the very least, because you're the older brother between the two of us, right? Help me understand what's going on. In the next moment, I had one of Tyson's hands around my muzzle, clamping it shut. His voice was brought down low and his gaze averted somewhat.
Okay, I get it. You don't have to make a fucking scene in the middle of the foyer. Wouldn't be surprised if the whole house heard you with that echo.
Easing off, he sighed out as I rubbed my face.
Meet me in my room in a couple minutes. I'm just gonna word up Sal and Haas that they're watching stuff on their own for, God, however long this takes.
Thanks, Ty.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. See you in a bit.
Ty wandered back into the dining room, but not without pausing to look at me over his shoulder before disappearing out of sight. Okay, so I'm gonna take a break at the 1 hour mark, exactly at the 1 hour mark. That is perfect. Dang, so now I'm gonna read the comments again. Okay, so Quote God is leaving, I think. You have to go, yeah. Great seeing you tonight. Let me see what I missed between like half an hour and now. Somebody said 15-hour energy. Dave needs 15-hour energy, low-key. Okay. Yes, Jack is the second most scariest character in the furry VN that I know. Number one being whatever the hell that creature is from the smoke room. / Echo. Yeah, I can vibe with that, truly. So I answered the question, who's your boyfriend? I don't have one. Who's my roommate? I don't have one either, actually. I had like 5 roommates like last year when I was like on campus before the pandemic. And so, yeah, that was a lot. Now I have a studio to myself. And then eventually I'll move back home and then I will have my family as roommates. So fun. What else have I seen? Do I play Among Us? Not as much anymore. I mean, I used to play it a lot more, but now that there's like proximity chat and things that people use that are PC exclusive, I can't do that on my Mac, and I can't do that on my PC mode because it's like, it's kind of whack, and I just want to get a PC.
Super chat.
Oh, Magram Wolfram donated 1313. Not sure if that's lucky or unlucky number. So, on behalf of all of us, oh, thank you so much, Magram. It's very nice of you to donate, and it's definitely a breath of fresh air to see someone new on the chat donations. Yeah. Thank you so much, and really enjoy your guys' support. But yeah, I don't know, I just have problems with like, it's just tough to do stuff with like a PC version with your Mac, especially because you have to typically do stuff that's like not as like well secured or doesn't work as well, or it's not as versatile. It's like I just want to get a PC for like gaming and stuff, but it's like I'd have to completely fund that on my own and like really make the money for that. And yeah, it's just my family is so anti-PC like computers wise. It's like they're just like Mac family or die. And then my brother and I are just sitting there going, we don't like Macs as much as you guys do. It's crazy. Oh, it's a Munsters reference, 1313. I mean, I'm just thinking of 13 like an unlucky 13 number. Probably makes sense because that would be in the Munsters. And how's the stream? The stream is going pretty chill. I have, from now on, am deciding to do breaks like around every half hour or whenever a scene changes. That's like significant enough to address the chat. So yeah, I did that last video that helped me go through the last update much quicker. It was only 2.5 hour read. And yeah, I just think it's gonna be a better format for me to not throw off the readings flow as much, because that's one of the biggest issues I personally had with my channel, is that I would read and then get into a random tangent while in the middle of reading, like completely impromptu and just ruining the direction of the story. Will you do speaking of being in a rant, will you do a collaboration with Yuki or Decker? I tried doing something with them with like March Madness, and we kind of had something going for a little bit, but things kind of fell out. It's like either they lost interest or just personally didn't agree with all the characters in the bracket itself. So yeah, so I mean, it would be nice, but honestly, I don't know how I would do anything, or if I'd ever like do any like interviewing or going on their podcast or anything like that. I don't know. I don't know them that well. Okay, while we are on break, may I ask what your top 3 favorite colors? Wow, 3 favorite colors. Wow, I've never been asked 3 before. I'm considering making a coat of arms for you. I wonder what that is. Sorry. My odd way of saying thank you for keeping me sane. Aw, that's so sweet of you, Mogram. My favorite colors, I definitely love like the blue, anything kind of between like a kind of like a sea green type of color and mint green, between that range and like a royal blue. Maybe even a little, yeah, like anything between that range is kind of my color scheme that I love. But if I had to name 3 specific colors out of that I would say are my favorites, I'd probably say like a cyan blue, like maybe not a cyan, kind of like a powder sky blue is what I mean. It's like powder sky blue would probably be my number 1. Number 2, I would say probably a teal, like a teal green, kind of going towards blue, like kind of thinking of like, not sure if I'd say kind of like a Miami Dolphins, like that football team's like type of teal, maybe a little bit more bluish than that. I don't know. But you know what like a teal type of color is. That's kind of my number 2. And number 3 is tough, because if you're making a color scheme out of the 3 colors, that is going to be kind of tough to like figure out what a third one would match it with. I'd probably say maybe like a mint green, maybe even like a sea green a little bit. Not sure if that's a color. But yeah, I could always change that third color to like maybe a cucumber green if need be, but yeah, tropical blue is pretty solid. But yeah, I love my greens and blues. Like, I always had like a cool color type of personality. And that's why I like those colors so much. I could see a coat of arms with a red panda rampant on it. I don't know what a coat of arms is, guys. I seriously am lost. Oh, Margaret explains. A coat of arms is like a symbol of sorts for families, organizations, and such. Think like in Game of Thrones. Oh, no wonder. How sigils are roses for Tyrell Lannisters, having a gold lion in a red background. Oh, so kind of like a symbol, logo, type of icon type of thing. Like a fancier way of that. Ah, totally lied. Yeah, as Lied says, I could see a coat of arms with a red panda rampant on it, which is why I just read. With a happy face at the end. That's sweet. While we are on break... Oh, I just read that question. I was just seeing if I missed anything. Yeah, Windows for the win. I mean, I think Mac is good for like creative stuff, like with some of the things within the Adobe Suite are nice, even though you have to pay monthly for them if you have newer versions. I would say in terms of like, you know, being like a creative, artistic, like computer type of thing, I would say like Macs are kind of better in being adaptable to that and like producing video stuff like this. But I would also say PCs are not that far off for like if you want to do like gaming or even streaming games like this. Like if you're more gaming and just game specific, I'd say PCs are a much better way to go. I just never got into them initially because my parents would always raise me on Macs, and like I was like the first computer they would rely on me getting. Like they would never go to like a Best Buy or a store like that to get a computer. We'd always go through like a friend of ours who would always get Macs for cheaper prices, or that were like used or like revamped or whatever the term is. Like he was adamant about just like not letting us do that and always making sure he pretty much had the control over how our computers, like how we got our computers. Like it always felt like my dad was always the one basically in control of our computer and phone type of situations. I never felt like I ever had control of, oh, I want this type of thing because I feel like this would be the best type of phone or computer for me. It was just, we are a Mac family or Apple family. We are getting an Apple product. And it's frustrating. Because it's like he has PCs, like some PCs for work, but he uses a lot more Macs, I'd say. But yeah, it just feels like we always have to go through him because he's the technology person. He works with like electrical stuff, so yeah. Feels like a bit of a control power dynamic, but I don't want to get into that. Anyway, I'm going to end in a minute, actually. I'm going to end the rant in a minute, so 1 minute left. Dirk, I think I love furry visual novels now, seeing it voiced and playing it myself. Oh, that's so cool, Kuru. It's gonna be Kuru Shikudu, I think? Yeah, Kuru Shikudu, that's so cool. I mean, that was the big thing I enjoyed about reading VNs, is like, it's like having the script of it in front of you, like you're acting it out, but like, you know, you don't have to like, it's like you get to like act out a play and they have the script and dialogue for you to read off of and go off of as if you're reading it in the voice booth. So I found that pretty cool about it, and it would be fun to see like if they'd ever voice visual novels like how the Hayseed Knight has voice actors for it. I don't know. It's fun stuff. Yes, my dad is loyal to Apple. Yes, they would our parents would get along then. All right, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back on the reading. As he sorted out his plans for the day, I headed up to his room, looking around. There was a part of me that didn't want to be in here, almost like it was a forbidden ground to tread on. One that I forgot to add the 1 minute, 11 second, whatever mark. Okay, I'm going to reread that part again, my bad, so at 1 minute 12, we're going to continue. Okay. I thought you said you're about to end the stream. Oh, no. I didn't say that, like... Oh, like, what I was counting down is just to get back into the reading. Like, I was done reading the chat, you know, because I'm trying to do the breaks in between. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. As he sorted out his plans for the day, I headed up to his room, looking around. There was a part of me that didn't want to be in here, almost like it was a forbidden ground to tread on. But in reality, the moment my eyes fell on his bed, I whined with memories from a week ago. Nothing happened, but they shouldn't have gotten that far. Another thing that we need to talk about at some point. By the time Ty came back, he was still awkwardly standing in the middle of the room, giving me a funny look as he closed the door behind him and wandered past me to the bed to sit down.
You coming?
I'm good for now.
Why the fuck are you standing there for?
You remember a week ago, right? Immediately his ears drooped, mood deflating.
Fuck. Right. We could do this in your room if you want. Or literally anywhere else if that's better.
No, it's fine, I think. But that's just one of the things I don't understand. We'll get to that later, though. Carefully, I wandered over to the bed and sat down next to him, frowning. So, I had a dream last night about you.
What kind of dream?
Well, it was about being back home. How things would be after we get back from this, well, vacation, I guess.
What'd you think they'd be like? Different?
Different, sure. Like, maybe I'd be dating someone, maybe not. Maybe the others would be around somehow, or maybe it'd just be you and me.
Well, you know I want to sort out my shit and bail too, right?
Can relate to that in my own real life with my home situation. That's... I'd forgotten about it in all honesty, making me hang my head to sigh out. Please don't leave me too, Ty. If everyone leaves, then where does that leave me?
Maybe you should go somewhere too. Maybe hit up the beach and have a decent vacation after this one. You like the beach.
I'd like the beach because you and Dad were there. If neither of you are around, it just wouldn't be the same, I think. Glancing at him, I noticed him nodding slowly.
Guess that's fair. Probably just be a reminder that you're alone. Huh.
Yeah. But that's not the important part, Ty.
Then what is?
The past few nights, they've all been dreams of Dad. But after yesterday, the one person that I wanted to see most, I felt silly for being so mushy, and I felt my ears burn and my cheeks go red under my fur. It was you, so... I could hear it before I looked over to him, the steady thumping of his tail against his bed. Look, you said you're not gay. I get that. You then tell me you're not sure. I get that too. But is it bad that I want you to know? For you to be sure? I may not even be your type, and that's cool too. But just... not knowing makes it hard for me to be able to know what's alright to say and what isn't okay to do. And without either, it's just very hard to do anything. Breathing in again, I felt myself getting worked up. Not in a sad way, but more an annoyed way that made my worries come out and closer to a bark than I'd intended. Hold on, just go. I just want to raise the mic so I'm not like speaking down into it. And I'm gonna also scoot in. Perfect. Then we've got everything going on with you and Haas, which is cool, but I feel a little jealous that he was my friend first, but I'm also happy that you have a friend now. But then I'm worried about what happened a week ago now, and people pushing me towards Dean and...
You don't like Dean?
I grumbled, throwing my hands up. I don't know. People just keep saying that we make a good match, and if I was a little more confident, then I'd probably be more willing to flirt back without feeling like I was just going to mess up.
Then tell him. Shit, I thought you liked the bear and that this was all helping.
It was at first, but now I I rubbed my face, sighing out and slumping back onto the bed. Now, I'm just not sure. It almost felt like as if we were back home again, laying down next to each other, just hanging out. Be it on the grass in the front lawn, backyard, middle of the living room, or on my bed. Ty, why can't it just be easy to fall in love with someone and just... this whole thing sort itself out?
Life is shit like that. That's why.
No kidding.
Even the people that should love you don't always, and it sucks. That's why David ruled so much.
You could probably just call him Dad, I think. The thought made me smile, if a little misty-eyed. He would have probably been fine with it.
Not until my own dad kicks the bucket. And I hope that piece of shit keels over sooner rather than later.
I knew already that Ty's dad wasn't the greatest on a lot of fronts, but hearing him be so direct about wanting him dead was a first. I mean, that is something that a lot of people who have problematic or conflicting parents, like, that's how their kids will feel about them because of just how much they make their lives problematic. Like, I don't have that, like, type of relation with my parents. It's not like I'm like, oh, I have anything like, oh, I have any vendettas against them, but it's just like, I can understand the feeling of just, I just don't want them, like, interfering with so much of my life anymore. And just, like, feeling like that other people are better family to you than your own blood. Like, I can feel that. God, it just hurts to think about. Especially when it's like, you know, you just don't really have the friend group around you to immediately help, you know, comfort you or really back you up in person. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, I'm gonna take a sip. That's not a nice thing to say, Ty.
I don't care. God, I don't care. He'd be better off dead so he can't hurt anyone else. Don't care, or I don't care. Don't want him even thinking of coming near you, either.
Was he really that bad? Like, really?
Fucking, you saw the house. You saw the alcohol.
As I look at my alcoholic drink on the side.
First, Mom ditched me with him, and he just saw that as an excuse to make me pick up the slack and blamed me for her not being around.
He was almost bellowing to the ceiling to the point I was considering covering my ears. Instead, I just reached out for a hand and grabbed it tightly. He seemed content to just keep ranting, though he squeezed my hand back.
He made a go at you when you came over, and most days he'll just work to just get paid, then blow most of it to get drunk. I'd be dead if it wasn't for you.
I didn't. He turned suddenly onto his side to face me, bringing his voice low, although there was still that notable growl in his voice.
And then, here I am, even now, fucking acting like him because I don't know how to not be a shit person when I just want people to leave me alone.
I don't really understand.
You know damn well what I'm talking about, Dave.
Our eyes met for the briefest of seconds before he looked away, leaving me to puzzle it out myself. What you almost did a week ago.
It shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have even been a thing I'd consider. Like, shit. Being in your position was bad enough as it is.
He trailed off suddenly, his grip on my hand eased off entirely, and he hung his head between us. I could hear him whimpering softly as he seemed to be recalling something.
I was only a kid.
I did the only thing I knew how and sat my chin atop his head and rubbed his arm. What could I even say to that? The implication was clear as day, and I feared that if I pushed for more information, I'd lose what ability I had to ignore it. The time ticked by as we just lay like that, motionless. The whimpering died down, and it almost seemed like Tyson had fallen asleep until he spoke up again.
You should hate me for it.
It wasn't a nice thing to do to me, Ty. If I told any of the others, they'd be out for blood for sure.
And you haven't.
Because if I did, they'd be abandoning you instead of finding out why it happened. Why'd you treat me that way? Ty shifted around so that he could instead place his head atop of mine, forcing my nose against his neck rather than arrange us both so we were comfortable.
Didn't think you were serious for a few days after that. Even with the gun thing in Benson. Just assumed. Well, you were thinking about your dad.
The Benson thing was different. Losing you as well as Dad would be too much, I think.
Right. But you're a fucking idiot, Dave. You stopped me from going into the woods to get shanked and head on yourself like you forgot.
Now it was my turn to whine, but instead, he just shifted a head onto my shoulder and started rubbing my back.
I'm glad neither of us ended up dead, you know.
Me too. Sorry. For another few moments, we just lay there until I prodded him gently in the chest. I can't read. For another few moments, we just lay there until I prodded him gently in the chest. Why did you get so upset that day? That you'd resort to that?
Don't know. Probably because I was scared that I'd end up hurting you if I stuck around, maybe. Or that I'd just get jealous and take it out on someone else and you'd hate me. The fucked up thing is that if you were gonna hate me, I'd rather it be because of something I did directly to you, right?
That makes sense, sure. What I don't get is why that even crossed your mind. Did you want me to hate you or something?
Nah, that's not it. It's like...
We both sat up, and he stretched, looking chestfallen. We both sat up and he stretched, looking crestfallen while he rubbed his face.
I thought, what's the worst thing that happened to me, and what I could do to you? Then, if you hated me, I could make a clean split and figure myself out. Then you'd not be like, worried about making sure everyone else was getting along with me too.
That's kind of dumb, Ty.
The fuck is that supposed to mean?
That you'd think that now of all times I'd be looking to randomly hate you just because, hell, right after I was claiming that I was trying to save your life and even willing to strip down in the backyard to keep you safe. Ty, come on. If that's not evidence enough of how important you are to me, then I don't know what is. My mouth suddenly felt dry, grasping out the next breath as I pulled the brakes on my train of thought.
Well, it took me by surprise for sure.
Do you love me?
What?
You know, like, at all.
Where the fuck is this coming from?
I don't know. Everything's complicated and I just remember things being simpler. What am I to you? A brother? Less than that? More than that?
I'm gonna level with you. I don't know. I'd like to know what this feeling is, but it's scary as all hell. Sometimes it's a good feeling, sometimes bad, sometimes it's just such a fucking downer that I'd rather just not be there.
Oh.
Look, I know what you want me to say, but I just don't want to say it. What if I don't mean it? What if it turns out that you get your hopes up and I'm just like, not able to return what you feel for me?
But I haven't said how I feel yet.
You're not exactly subtle. Plus, I kinda know how you'd say it anyway. It's...
Ty went quiet suddenly, not even sighing out. His eyes went to the floor and his tail remained deathly still.
It's one of the last things David said to me anyway.
What?
Yeah, remember, the guy talk we had for like an hour?
I remember. I never did find out what that was about.
Probably never will. It was just... stuff I needed advice on.
Is it all sorted out at least?
Not really. Getting there, though. But part of that was David saying shit that made me feel real uncomfortable. He just laughed it off, though.
What sort of things? Ty's tail started to thump behind him again, and if I had the hinting Ty's tail started to thump behind him again, and if I had the hinting suspicion that his cheeks were going red under his fur.
Stupid stuff.
Come on, tell me. Whatever it must have been was good, right? Tail seems to think so. Snatching his tail so he could not hold it against the bed, or snatching his tail so he could hold it against the bed, he sighed out.
That he loved me. That he was proud. I came asking for, or that he was proud I came asking for advice. Stuff like that. Wasn't the first time that I'd done it, so I was just... It was just strange he'd say that stuff then of all times, right?
Oh god, I am going into conspiracy theory mode, but oh god, this totally backs up the evidence that Dave's dad is not dead. Like, if he was being very serious about all this stuff and like being extremely authentic and happy about this and being very serious with him just before he left off, this really does feel like he was trying to leave him off with some sort of bookmark before he disappeared. Like, oh god, this is it. Dad was the best.
He was.
Yeah. We stared at each other for a few moments, just watching or waiting for the other to make the first move.
I really am. I hope you know that.
What? You really are... What?
Sorry. I feel like if it I feel like if what happened just didn't, things would be a bit different now.
Different how?
Don't know, maybe. Maybe we'd have gone to the beach instead of coming here. Maybe we'd have made plans to move in somewhere together and have a place of our own.
Is that something you still want? He shrugged, and I thought it over. Well, regardless of where I go, I'll keep in mind to have a spare bedroom ready and waiting for you if you need it. No matter whatever boyfriend I might have says.
Thanks, Dave.
Not pup.
It feels weird to say now. You're not a kid and you're like more to me than just a pet, so fuck knows if I'll say it again.
Well, do you prefer Ty or Tyson? He grumbled, mumbling something barely coherent, but I caught it all the same.
I just like hearing your voice.
Oh, this is so cute! Oh, Tyson, you just gotta love him. Resting my head on his shoulder, I sighed out, feeling a little better. For me, I guess I like saying Ty, like, I feel like it's kind of like a pet name. I wonder if this will determine if we get any further with him. I'm gonna save here, actually. Luckily, the save will be in blue. And the path is weird because it still has a question mark. I'm not sure why it's still that way. Maybe it's because A and B are the same for now. I don't know. Oh god. I like the color of the saves now. It's just so tricky when the GUI changed and you're like, how do I do this? Yeah, Ty is the most realistic character in this game. Even the chat calls him Ty. So at this moment, we are now coming to a path. And a rather complex one. Yeah, I totally agree with him. Like, maybe just because we've only done Dean and Tyson's routes, but even between the two, I think Tyson by far is the most interesting character and one with the most depth to him. But then again, I feel like if we look into like some of the other characters, they'll probably have some more backstory to them, and we aren't giving them as enough credit then for that. But just, yeah, from what we've experienced, it just feels like Tyson's he's just got a lot on him. Nobody want to help me with this? I'm gonna do Ty unless anybody objects. No objections? I'll wait for a few seconds. Have some of my... Okay, 1 vote for Ty at least. 2 for Ty. If no one else objects, if there's nobody that says Tyson, then we're gonna go with Ty. I just like Ty personally. Even Jason agrees. He's like, I like Ty. Ty. Oh, I have such an interesting idea with that for like VNs or whatnot. Like, I wonder if Grizzly's gonna do this. Like, will the name, the text name box or whatever, change to Ty if we say Ty now? Like, that would be interesting. Like, if like he made a variable for that where it initially starts default as Tyson, but then with this choice we can change it now to Ty. Oh, that'd be so interesting. Ty it is. The comment hung in the air between us for a bit before I continued, wanting to explain why. Like, it's what I call you, right? That's a special thing for me because it's like a nickname, or like a thing I'm allowed to do because we're close, right?
Yeah, sure as hell wouldn't let Haas call me that anyway. He has his own nickname as it is.
Oh, I forgot what it was. I know what he's talking about. I forgot what the exact name was. Right.
Randoms calling me that can get fucked too. I have a name.
Okay, maybe. Maybe dial it back a little. My point that I like saying Ty because it tells me that we're close. I don't really care if others call you that.
I care. Calling me that is your thing. It's like how you're Dave, instead of just going by David, like, well, David.
It also helps keep things a little less confusing, but I get what you mean, I think.
Not confusing to me. You're just you. Not Yuichi, but you. As much of a brat as you are.
Careful, Ty. Otherwise, I might have to find a new nickname to call you by.
Well, yeah. Like you go and do that.
I don't know. If Haas is calling you Big Dog now, maybe you could be Little Bit. Wait, if Haas is calling you, yeah, maybe you could be Little Bit. In a flash, Tyson had his arm around my head and grinding a knuckle into the spot between my ears. Okay, I'm sorry. It hurts. Uncle.
What was that you were about to call me? Because it better not have been what I think it was.
It wasn't. I'm sorry. He let me go, but not before patting the fur on the back of my head down.
Try calling me a bitch again and see what happens.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Was Dave really gonna say that? No. No. God dang it, Dave, you're an idiot. Don't tempt me. I smiled as I saw Ty shake with laughter, his spirits clearly high. It was almost contagious, and I found myself snickering alongside him as I rubbed my head. I checked the time on my phone and quickly saw that we still didn't have any reception. Yep, my Wi-Fi is still McDonald's Wi-Fi. The thought caused me to frown, but more than that, I realized just how long we'd been chatting for. Haas and Sal are probably wondering where we are. Or where you are specifically.
Fuck it. You're more important.
I'll be fine until later. I just like that we talked things out.
What's happening later?
Oh, well, I have a few things I need to let you guys know. Like the nuclear launch codes. I never really get around to explaining what happened. Or I never did really get around to explain what happened. But I just... Already, I could feel the thought of Jack and his knife starting to creep into the front of my memory.
Hey, it's alright. You're safe.
Yeah, I'm... safe, right?
I just said that.
No, that's not what I meant. Something else is... Ty frowned as he watched me. I left my thought there, unsure exactly of how to explain it.
Well, if you're in trouble, you better tell me.
I'm not sure. At least not yet. What I mean is that... I groaned, rubbing my face. Tyson threw an arm over my shoulder, and that made me feel somewhat less apprehensive about the talk that I need to have tonight.
Come on, let's go hang with Haas and Sal until you're ready.
Despite the plan to head on over to the rec room, we headed downstairs for a snack first with the idea that we'd be free to spend the rest of the afternoon without needing the break for lunch. And at that break, we are going to take a little sippy break and chat break. In 10 seconds, I'm going to mention it on the list. And it starts now, so the update is there. Okay, so what have I missed? Yeah, wait, it's day 15 already? I know, right? It's like, it's weird to think that's like, this, at least this VN, since we know we're gonna be there for a month expectedly, it's like, we know how long this VN's gonna be in terms of days. It's crazy to think we're halfway through, technically. Day 16 would technically be the halfway day, but still, it's like, whatever. Yeah, we're pretty much just about halfway through this, like, game. It's crazy. Yeah, and then, what else? Hey, Dirk, been watching your and some of your friends' furry van playthrough voiceovers. I want your recommendations on watching all of Password. Is it a good VN or will it mess me up? I don't think it's gotten to that point. I don't think it's like that like crazy where it will mess you up and really be that traumatic. I mean, I wouldn't say that like if you have like past trauma, like I don't want to be like, you know, underestimating it. Like I'm not somebody who's had like any sort of trauma like that myself, so I can't advise it from that standpoint, but I don't think it's something that severe like an Echo VN where it's gotten that crazy. Unless you choose the bad endings like Path C or D, where it's like you get some bad moments and you choose not to find out some passwords. So as long as you're getting the passwords, I think it's fine. At least at this point, like nothing I think too extreme is gonna happen. I definitely think even just reading it for the sake of just like it's good content or just for the sake of the story itself, I think it's definitely a good recommendation that I'd recommend you playing through or watching. So yeah, Password's a game I'd recommend. I just feel bad that I keep pushing it to the side or in the back of my list of games because it keeps updating so fast and I have so many other VNs that update at the same time. So yeah, trying to keep up, but yeah, it's good VN nonetheless, even if I don't say it as much anymore. Yes, this is a game that lends itself to theories and conspiracies. Fear not, or do. Yes. Like I said earlier, I totally think when Dave's dad, David, ended up sitting down Tyson and being like, oh, I'm very proud of you, and just got very serious with him with how he talked to him for the last time. It seemed like he knew this was going to be the last time, like, based off of those details of the account. Or of recounting of the events. Like, it seems like there's something that David, or Dave's dad, tried to do, and it seemed like he did go undercover with that. Ty is like dropping honorifics in Japan. Yes, I guess so. And then, yes, Jack did give Dave trauma. I would say that is like, you know, kind of the thriller part of it, but luckily if you're only in like path A or B, it's not like that extreme. It's not like, it's not something that's going to be crazy that you die from or anything too insane happens from. Like, it's scary in and of itself, the event, but yeah, I think it's something you could still read through. It's not like Echo, where there's some moments that just get really escalated. And I'm assuming this game might have that eventually. I don't know. I can't read the mind of Grizzly, but yeah, like we haven't had that many events to prove that point yet. So, at least in my opinion. Okay, just wait until you get to the point where you go down the lore rabbit hole with theories. Oh yes, that'll probably be me in a couple of days with this VN. Or a couple of VN days, like days within this game. Like once you get to like day 20 of this game. Alright. Anyone else got anything to say before I go back and read? I'm probably gonna give you guys like about a minute and a half, maybe a minute now. And then get the red string ready. I need to get the corkboard too for that too. God, it's gonna be insane. This game feels like it could have a lot of conspiracy to it. And I gotta get the game mug out again. Yeah, Jack is really frightening me. I'm gonna give myself 30 seconds now, and then I'll start again. Wow, Dave is the only one going through something troublesome. Yeah, I guess. It seems like that at the moment. That's the one issue where I'm like, it's not like the others, where all of them are going through it like an echo. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and back to the reading. Despite the plan to head on over to the rec room, we headed on downstairs for a snack first with the idea that we'd be free to spend the rest of the afternoon without needing to break for lunch.
Come on.
This seems to be going as well as it did for Tyson yesterday.
When we arrived to meet up with the other two, we walked in on what appeared to be Haas trying to convince Sal about something. Is it Bobo's Absurd Adventure Part 6?
Ah, you're here. Good. You can help me convince Sal to.
The moment Haas started talking, Ty was on his way forward, quieting up with his trademark move of putting his hand around Haas's face.
Leave him alone, Top Cat. Are you feeling better, Dave?
Yeah, I'm good.
Then I'm glad.
Dude, Sal said that the magical girl genre and Sentai were the same thing. I just had to correct him on it.
Oh god, Sentai. Oh no! Oh, that's such a horrible combination to have. Oh no. Oh god, that's... I do not want to imagine those two genres mashed together. Sentai. Oh no.
Does it really matter that much?
Haas started making frustrated sounds, playing up how taken aback he was in the moment. I recognized it from the other times he'd done it to get a rise out of Orlando, but the faint smirk he flashed me when I caught his eye knew he wasn't being serious. I took a moment to get myself comfortable and enjoy a moment where the people around me were happy. It was nice, slowly easing back into things as if things were back to normal. So, what are we watching? Do we have a movie in mind, or...
We have options.
Plenty of anime to watch. Honestly, surprising just how much there is in the way of genre coverage.
If you're rich, why don't you just download or buy everything just because you can, right?
I don't know. That seems kind of wasteful, doesn't it?
Dave has a point. Unless they have a boat hidden somewhere. Rich people have boats.
We're on a mountain, though. They probably just have it stashed somewhere that it actually gets some use.
Pretty far from the ocean. But maybe there's a lake nearby. A lake wouldn't be too bad to swim in. Or go fishing.
That's great and all, but this isn't helping us decide what anime we're watching.
We're not watching anime, Haas.
Oh, Bobo's Absurd Adventure Part 6 is coming out tonight! Why not?
'Cause he said so, I'm guessing.
I kind of want to watch that one movie that... Wait, was it one movie or two?
I don't know what movie he's talking about. Any ideas, Tyson? No clue.
Come on, you know the one that's like with the people and they go and do the thing with the ring. Oh no. If we're watching that one, should I go get Roswell?
Huh? Why Roswell?
No, I don't think he means that one, Hoss. I don't think Dave is talking about anything with wrestling involved either.
No, come on, Ty. We've watched this one before. His blank expression quickly made me realize that he had absolutely no clue as to what I was talking about.
Can I have a clue?
It's, not the space one?
The space? The fuck did they make a space movie with a ring in it? I thought that was a video game.
No. It was, there were things and... God, what did they do with the ring in that movie?
Volcano?
Yeah, Volcano, that one. I want to watch that movie.
Lord of the Bling. It's like, as they call it in this universe.
Oh. That's something like 3 movies, but that's going to eat up literally the rest of the day if you want to watch all of them in order.
Is that a problem?
So long as we don't tell Dean or Orlando. They both love those movies.
We could just wait until they're all ready to watch a movie together and watch them then.
Fuck it. If they like movies, then they've seen them before. They can watch them in their own time.
You sure that's okay?
Worst case scenario, we could just blame you if they get all uppity about missing out on the movie. They had their chance.
Wow, rude. But if I'm getting blamed for something, but if I'm getting blamed for watching something I want to watch, then we better watch it.
Alternatively, we could just watch something else.
Well, it's either this or anime, so...
I shall load up the anime then.
We're not watching anime! For the rest of the afternoon, we enjoyed watching movies. After the first, we took a break for snacks before getting right back to it. But then we were right back to it soon after, and before we know it, I knew it, I guess. And before I knew it, we were done. We made our way to dinner, and as I sat down, I started to worry. Would the others understand? Would I be brushed off as crazy? If they believed me only a little bit of what the Vault had been doing, then I had a chance. But it felt so much more dire than that. I was scared. For myself. For my friends. For whatever this mess that we found ourselves in meant. I looked across to Oswin, who along with Benson ate with the rest of us. He was watching me quietly, almost waiting for me to make the first move. I'd gotten through half of my own meal before stopping, instead playing with what remained and with my spoon. Hey, everyone? The moment I spoke, Oswin nodded slowly, setting his cutlery aside and mumbling something to Benson. The otter nodded back and headed into the kitchen, and out of sight to do whatever it was that was asked of him.
What's the matter, Dave?
Are you not hungry? Does it taste bad? I could make you something else if you want. No, it's not that. Just... I need to tell you all about something. Is it about... you know? No. All eyes turned to Oswin as he answered for me a moment after Orlando asked.
It's something that led to everything that transpired a couple days ago. A cascade of issues that ultimately start with my intervention of something that I fear may yet come to pass.
Well, that sounds ominous.
Everybody stares at Roswell very meaningly. Or very meanly.
If, incredibly troubling given what happened to Dave.
I made myself smaller in my chair and let Oswin take the conversation. He made the offer, and if it saved me the task of explaining something I barely understood, I was going to let him. No, Dragon, you're not gonna have Happy Death Day happen to us. Sorry, just had to see that comment and address it.
Wait, so... The reason Dave went into the woods was because of you? In essence, yes. Although that's radically overestimating my direct role in things.
You were the one that said this was your fault, you know.
I'm aware.
I looked to Orlando, who seemed to quickly put something together, and his scales paled just enough to be noticeable.
Oh, don't tell me. That thing that... you stopped from happening. Before you go assuming the worst, I'll tell you now that the details specifically around what I stopped happening are unknown to me.
But you just said...
Specifically. You said specifically. Then you know some of the details.
I do, yes.
Oswin looked to me, and I looked him. Oswin looked to me, and I looked at him back. There was a moment where I thought he was going to continue taking charge of the conversation, but it faded the longer he remained silent. The longer he didn't elaborate, the more my friends turned to me, as that's where he was looking. I breathed in and spoke quietly, my voice quivering as I struggled to put it into words. Marked for death. Closing my eyes, I heard the phrase echoing around in my head. I couldn't place why or how it seemed to be echoing around me, but it was, reminding me of how things I'd seen so far. Tyson, mauled by something outside. Solidarity. Benson, shot in the dining room. Betrayal. Dean, or something was going on. Sal had an axe and he was covered in blood. When I opened my eyes, I was breathing hard. But then, who could...
Dave, you doing alright?
Huh? What? How long did I zone out for?
You zoned out?
I looked to Oswin, who seemed amused by something, but I shook my head. Just... Okay, everyone knows I've been messing with the vault, right?
Right?
Well, after the first time, Oswin contacted me through a radio... thing, right?
Close enough, yes.
But why?
Oswin said that one of us was going to die, right?
He said what?
Eyes were on Oswin again, and he seemed completely unaffected by the looks he was getting.
Dave speaks the truth, although he's not completely on the mark. Specifically, I told him that any number of you are at risk, not just one of you.
Okay, the fuck? From what?
Or who? Oswin shrugged.
You better start talking.
I am. More importantly, I'm relying on what information I do know. Anything else? Well...
You're lying!
Pardon?
You do know more, but
But for whatever reason, you're just not saying it. You're right in that I know many things. Things that are quite frankly none of your business. You can't just expect to drop that bombshell and have them be alright with it, Oswin. My concern is that what my approval... never mind. This is unlike the president. My concern is not what my approval rating is, but to relay what the truth of the matter is. Which, I'll remind you, is that your lives are in danger.
Okay, fuck it. We'll just leave then.
No! We can't!
What? Why the fuck not?
I explained to Dave at the time that leaving would only ensure the death of one of you. Not by hand. Or not by my hand, mind you. I gave him the choice, and he decided to stay.
And the phone reception being cut?
Who can say? Not my doing in any case.
So what? We just have to buy that? Fuck you! Dave almost died!
I'm aware of that, but he didn't. Large in part to Benson.
And no help to you, and no help from you, I'll add.
And who do you think asked Benson to keep an eye out? But why me? Is Dave in that much danger? You tell me, Mr. Noble.
Dun dun dun!
Well, I don't want him in danger. I've been doing everything I can to try and keep him safe. Could you say the same about your father? What's he got to do with Dave's safety?
I can't say I like him very much.
Acquainted already, are we, Sal?
We've met, but why? Dave?
Dave is more collateral damage waiting to happen. What Orlando's father is actually after would be the vault downstairs. Okay, we find this out in like path C or D, the alternate thing I was talking about, like about his, like Orlando's father and what he really does. But, oh my god, are we gonna reveal it here now in day 15? This is gonna be nuts. Oh lord. Okay, why would a banker want the vault? Oh wait. Why would a banker want to have a vault? A guy who puts stuff in vaults, why would he want a vault? I'm kidding. I know the real reason, but why would a banker want a vault? There were a few confused glances around the room as I finished my question. With no answer, I looked first to Orlando, then to Oswin. Wait, was that what he meant? What he was after? You're going to need some more specifics than that, Dave. The guy who, you know, he was interested in the vault, but thought it was a time machine. I saw Oswin's nostrils flare at the mention of a time machine, and he grunted in annoyance. It is not a time machine, but it is being described in that way makes it abundantly clear who sent that rabbit.
What exactly is the vault? It's a bit beyond me, but it shows you how you die, right?
Not exactly. For the most part, exactly how and why it works isn't important right now. The only important part is that Dave can use it as can Orlando's father.
Then fuck it. Give it to the guy. Like hell I'm gonna let... Then fuck it. Give it to the guy. Like hell I'm gonna let you put Dave in danger just because you won't.
And you're going to do what exactly? I'll have you know I'm not entirely too keen on handing over a machine like that to a crime boss. Even Tyson had to concede that giving anything to a crime syndicate wasn't a clear-cut good or bad idea.
But it's not a time machine, right? What's the harm?
You're an intelligent boy. You tell me what someone could do with a machine built around quantum mechanics or morphic resonance. I saw Orlando's hand eagerly shoot up right at the time that sly grin came out on Roswell's face. Roswell is such a fucking little shit.
Morphic resonance, huh?
I don't get it. Someone explain what exactly this is.
Well, it might not be a time machine, but a machine like that could give you something like psychic powers.
I found myself glancing between Roswell and Oswin, while Tyson seemed to be trying to understand the explanation. Roswell.
Being able to jump between different realities, stuff like that. You know, the good stuff.
That's not how it works! I noticed Orlando sheepishly putting his head down while Oswin fumed, Roswell clearly pleased with himself.
No, well, it's something close to that anyway. But essentially, imagine being able to look into the future to where you might be in danger. Imagine how useful that'd be.
I suppose I'm not going to get a thoroughly explained version unless I do it myself. But now is hardly the time.
So, Orlando's dad is... They're... the bad guys?
I'm not! I promise! He's very different from his father from my interactions with him. So unless he's a very good liar, I'm fairly certain Orlando's heart is in the right place.
Okay, so what does that leave us now? Orlando's family wants the vault. We can't give it to him because Dave can use it and he's in trouble. But on top of that, at least one of us is in danger.
But not only that, we can't leave it because if we do then, one of us will still be in danger. Yeah, but what if we make it through to the end of the month? But if we make it to the end of the month, we're safe, right? Or no, that's Oswin. That's right. My interest is seeing you through to the end of the month alive and well. I may not show it, but I do genuinely wish for all of you to survive.
Then, what happens now? We can't contact the police after what happened. Otherwise, I'd say we should do that.
If my dad is behind this, then... well, I can't contact him either to tell him to stop. Dad, pick me up, I'm scared.
Would it be that easy?
No, I suppose it wouldn't. You do realize crime syndicates are really complicated. In the meantime, we have Benson as a useful asset to keep us safe. I'll start shoring up what defenses I can, although they'd mostly just be keeping tabs on if the doors are locked or not. Perhaps get the security system operational again. And what should we do? Stay safe, obviously.
Are we going to be alright for food? What about if the worst happens?
It wouldn't come to that, would it? It may, but you don't live in isolation like this without stockpiling a little bit. As far as food stores, we shouldn't need to ration for a long while, even with the 9 of us present. There were sighs of relief all around, but we were left there unsure of where to go next. I sat back in my chair and sighed out. It was out in the open now, and it felt good that everyone seemed to have context of what I'd been going through lately.
I don't get it.
Roswell's speaking caught me off guard, looking over only to see him thinking hard about something.
If Dave can use the vault, that's fine. But how's he been using it so far doesn't feel very efficient? Or at least, the system itself seems flawed.
How do you mean?
Think back to when we were at the vault when we came back in from the hedge maze, right?
You had your notebook and you were trying to open it, right?
And that's just it. There's two things wrong here. The first is that there's a door there, so there has to be something inside. If so, then what? And if Orlando's dad wants it because it's a time machine, then does he not know what it looks like? Or that there's a door? Why isn't he after what's inside? Hey now, we don't even know if what's inside is valuable, do we?
Eyes went to Oswin and he seemed distracted by something, having missed the implied question. Oswin? What's inside the vault? He gave me a careful stare, one that seemed to be thinking still about whatever it was that had distracted him. I'm not at liberty to say.
Is what's inside the vault dangerous? Valuable at least to a crime syndicate?
To someone smart enough, what's contained inside could do a great deal of harm, or a great deal of good depending. I don't have faith that Orlando's father would be one to do good, willing or otherwise, with whatever he found inside it. And we can't just open it and destroy what's inside either.
That would solve one problem at least.
I'd consider it, but no. Destroying it would ultimately do more harm than good. Of that you can be sure.
Okay. Right.
Roswell scratched his head before he continued.
Then there's the second thing. Right. Or then there's the second thing, right?
And that would be?
If Dave can use the vault, then what's stopping him from just grabbing a dictionary and just brute forcing options with every word listed on it? He'd surely find something that would work, right?
Perhaps. But think about how many words there can be. Think about how long it would take him to type each one individually.
Oh my god, I just imagined Dave with a dictionary. Let's start on A.
As a separate issue to that, there's been some developments on the back end that puzzle me still. Like how there are passwords that work that you didn't program in. Correct. There shouldn't be anything that slips by me as far as anyone using it, but the window of opportunity to program something in and delete the entry after you've seen it would be near impossible.
Actually, it's literally impossible.
Excuse me?
You said it works off morphic resonance. If we're looking at this as a pseudo-scientific principle instead of a work of science fiction, then anything that's coming across is not even in this timeline.
You'll do well to forget You'll do well to forget about different timelines, boy.
Fine. Different iterations of the universe, then.
Oh god, this is making me think of statistics and iterations. Fuck. Oh my god, this could be a statistics problem.
But this only supports my suggestion that if Dave really wanted to, he could brute force passwords.
We can also do some simulations on that and see if there's any pattern within the words that we have found and see if there's any
linking themes within the words. Like that would be something you'd have to turn qualitative data into quantifiable data, and then I have to run Monte Carlo oh god, I'm gonna turn into a statistician to figure out how to beat this game. Like, wouldn't that be ridiculous? Yes, math flashbacks. Oh no. There are at least 171,000 words in the English language from a quick Google search. Poor Dave. That would be awful. Anyway, is that really possible? I'd do it if it would mean keeping people safe. You'd see Dave like days on end just sitting in front of the password thing, like in front of the password vault, just like, how you doing, Dave? Great. Still is on like the B page of words. I'd do it if it would mean keeping people safe. I can't deny the possibility, but there's a problem in Roswell's reasoning.
Not as far as I can tell.
Then allow me to explain. The vault won't show your own death like Sal assumed. In fact, it's literally incapable of showing your own death. It's like dividing by 0 and then you explode. Think of yourself as the 0 reference point.
And if we're in danger, Dave could just tell us and then use that information to keep him safe in turn, right?
Unless he's never in a position to witness those events on other timelines. The moment you create a scenario that is forced to come to pass on every further instance of the universe, you're doing any potential alternatives you might be looking for. Oh god, I'm gonna think of... God, don't turn into a statistician, Dirk. Don't turn into a statistician. Think of it as conditional probability. There could be probabilities of things that add up to the scenario you're in. So then, those things are still probable of happening unless you make a specific scenario happen that leads up to them getting to that point. Once you are at that point, those scenarios are inevitable givens. From there, you calculate the probability within that universe of what is happening. Oh, this is like, I'm sorry that I'm turning into a math brain. Like, I'm thinking about this so mathematically, it's crazy. You're doing any potential alternatives you might be looking for.
Because of those given probabilities are set to one specific thing. Meaning those other chances of those givens being something else is impossible. Anyway. So I just won't go punching in words? Easy. I'll use Siri. Siri, type in the words for me.
But if you don't, then how are we meant to know who's in danger? It's worked at least twice so far, so...
It's a decision that Dave will need to make for himself. If anything, him not seeing anything is a good sign for the time being. Yes, but actually no.
In a sense, you're starting at point A of like probabilities and stuff. Like you're not starting yourself at like point C, but at the same time, not being at point C makes the chances of all those other events from then on out even lower of a probability because you're starting at something that has a lower probability and has multiple outcomes in it of itself. Therefore, it's a pretty big gamble to play. So it's like, would you choose to stick yourself later on and risk having some things given and lost from you, but still have a higher chance to make those other chances happen? Or do you start from point A and be able to have things in between that point A and point C still happen so you don't have anything bad by accident happen, but at the same time, finding something safe in the future is going to be a lower combination of probabilities because you have to account for all the different probability and outcomes in between A and C. It's like a Schrodinger's cat in a sense. Probability is kind of Schrodinger's cat, I guess, if you're thinking about it in terms of universe. Like, it's
basically what we like to call those things are like random variables, like your random outcomes. I could literally do the corkboard thing like somebody suggested earlier and just pin these options up here. Like, this game is turning into like, not like just a game of Clue, but like a game of like a mystery. It's like, even data science and statistics isn't even like, it isn't even like Clue where it's like, oh, the right answer is this. There's so many different ways of how to approach this, and that's the crazy thing. We can approach this in different ways. We can go into different universes and scenarios on how to approach this, and we could get different approaches to same outcomes, or use the same approach and then simulate and then get different outcomes within that same approach. There's so many different steps that we can figure this out, and yeah, it's gonna be tough to figure this out. Sounds like Rick and Morty. Oh no. We're gonna have 400 IQ brain by the end of this. Metaphysics mixed with murder mystery. That does sum this up well now that we're talking about it, and now this is actually very exciting to me, because I could use my science brain for this. Anyway, it's not a decision that Dave will need to make for himself. If anything, him not being able to see anything is a good sign for the time being. Oswin went back to his meal a moment later, deciding that he was done talking, and a moment later rising from the table. Much in the same way, everyone else started eating again, although the air was filled with uncertainty. I finished up eating and took my plate into the kitchen not long after that. While the talk was nice, there was still more to come, and I was eager to get that done sooner rather than later, which we'll do after a quick little break for me to get a sip of my happy juice and a chat with the chat. Okay. Oh man. Guys, this is crazy. I'm so sorry I went into like a crazy like statistics, like chances and like connections and science-y type of breakdown with this, because I mean, there is like I forgot what the exact section is called, because we did stuff like that with like pinpointing things with givens and whatnot in my statistics. Like, let me see. Okay, my phone number's on this. I don't want to reveal that. I mean, because we do have things like this in my statistics, where my name's not on here, just double checking, where we basically have things like this where we have like, I forget the exact name of what it's called, but it's basically like sequence or kind of like event conditioning and whatnot, and like we kind of had a section in one of our courses about like conditional events and like dependence on events, and how if things are independent depending on how they're linked, and how that would then affect the probability and chances of those happening, and how that would then lead to the chances of that being an outcome. If then we land at this point, then we may be more or less likely, blah blah blah, or if it doesn't matter. Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, we had a section on that. It was really tough for me to understand. It was tough for everybody. It was the last section of our course that quarter. And oh my lord, it was a headache. But thinking of it like this without all the math involved in it does help, but we can kind of use some pseudo math to help figure this out a little bit. I could get a piece of paper. I'm going to rip my name off of it because my real name is on it. There we go. Nicely ripped. But this is the kind of thing we have to figure out with where we are now. We're going to get into like some red strings in this moment, so... It's like, basically, it's like we are
the first time we got to use the vault is day 6. So we're going to assume everything up to day 6 is happened, like the conditional has been given. So we are in this scenario, we're not assuming any chances of anything else happening because we are in this universe. So we are at day 6. This is our start. From there, it's like we could have had the scenarios where it's like we guessed the password and then we didn't, and I'm gonna call our character that we're dating Date, like D-A-T-E, just to shorten it. So basically, then we go to day 7 if we guess the right one, but we still have chances of everything else in the universe being able to still happen. But everything between day 6 and day 7, there could have been a lot of chances, in theory, if this wasn't a VN and didn't have it all written out beforehand, to have happened. Like if we were completely independent of the VN writer's choices and literally did every single line ourselves according to how we would have acted as Dave. But we're just doing this based off a linear route based on how the VNs work. We guessed the password, so yes, we hit day 7. This is where the kind of different universes comes in. We don't get day 6, we die, or the person we choose as our character route dies. And so then we end up going to the end of the story, so that's kind of a dead end. So I'm going to kind of label it with a dark square like this. So then we have this. And then from here, day 7, we can basically have all sorts of different possibilities leading up to there, like I said, if we were not following a linear story. So we then go on to day 8. We ask a bunch of questions. And I think that may have affected some of the things because I think there were some decisions within day 8, like revealing Benson or Oswin or somebody like that. No, we already know Benson exists, but revealing Oswin on day 8 is another thing that changes our path. That's our universe path that we're talking about. So we are going into different paths from there on day 8. So it's like, I'm sorry I'm going to break down Grizzly's game, and he's going to cancel me probably for explaining how the game's path works. I'm not going to be like spoiling anything big, like, oh, this is what happens, like, if we died, or, you know, I'm not going to give any story spoilers too much, except for the ones that I've actually played on my channel. So everything I'm going to say on here is only going to be like spoilers in terms of what I've actually played. Nothing, if I haven't played it, I don't know it, so I'm not going to be like spoiling. I'm not going to like bash through his code and be like, here's exactly how it goes. No, I wouldn't. That'd be too long and too mean to do, and that would just ruin the fun of the game. So I think C and D are like, because there are 4 paths according to Grizzly when I talk to him. So that's something I know. So from day 8, we ask Oswin. So this is another thing in the universe that, in theory, it's like if we didn't go linearly with this and we're from day 6, the chance of having any of these events happen here is still plausible. But we can't exactly guess for certain, like, you know, it's not as high of a chance to be able to land on that exact universe. We guess A and B. We go onto this circle. We don't reveal Oswin, or we do, whatever it is. We go to this alternate one. So then from there, now we're in 2 different universe paths. And this is why Oswin was like, okay, we don't want to like guess a bunch of words and reveal too many passwords too fast, because if we reveal something, we're going to be set on one universe where we may have an inevitable death.
or something like that, where the chance of living, there may only be one good possibility to get a chance of living, as opposed to like 5 or 6 or however many. Like it's like technically the world has infinite possibilities, but within those possibilities, there could be a quantity or frequency of those that is less than others. Like there's bigger and smaller infinities. Oh God, let me know if I'm boring you guys to death with this, because I am just going into full conspiracy mode. Yes, a show most of us would probably find amusing. What show are we talking about? Oh, Clue, or Chief Investigator, or whatever it is. Oh, we should have a show. Oh my gosh, Rogram suggested we should have a show delving into the lore, science, and math of it all, like I'm doing right now. Guys, I should probably do that as like a stream afterwards. Like, I'm not sure if I'd make it a Twitch stream, because I don't think the YouTube audience here comes to me and would like be as interested in this. Like, it would be more of a laid back, in a sense, like not as prompted like this. Like, it's more gonna be impromptu topics and stuff. But God, I only have one whiteboard on me now. I need to buy another whiteboard. I have the markers, but I could start drawing this all out and not have to explain on one sheet of paper. But yes, Dirk's furry VN game theory. Yes, that is what I am going to be doing now. Ciao, everyone. Good morning, but I think it's night for Dirk. Ciao, Niccolo. No, it's Italian for goodbye. And yeah, I think it's definitely morning in Italy, because I know people in like Europe that's like it's late night, early morning for them now. Oh shoot, did I close Discord? Okay, good. I was talking with somebody from Europe on Discord. I didn't know if I closed the program, but yeah. So, God, I might do this. I might do this after the stream. I'm not sure if I should do that or like finish the Dean version of this, but still. That's the thing about probability and chances. It's just, if you haven't done anything yet, there's so many chances for something to happen, but it's more chaotic and harder to land on a certain event. So that's where I'm going to conclude that for now, and just address the chat for now, which not too many comments have come in, so good at the same time that I don't have to catch up, but also, you know, I didn't want to like bore you guys to death if I did by talking about all this gibberish. I sound like a conspiracy nut this episode, and I swear to God, this is probably my favorite episode of Password so far, because it's getting into some deeply like theoretical stuff. I'm down for a conspiracy stream with Lied and Dirk. Oh, that would be fun. Yes, and that is my TED Talk. Thank you so much for saying that, Yellow. I'm gonna catch up on the game because I'm like 3 updates behind. Yeah, I mean, I have the VNs like as recorded readings if you want to check that out, or play it yourself. Definitely recommend playing it yourself too if you really want to get through it fast. Link is in the description to download the game if nobody knows already. So see ya, Young. Yeah, he's going in like a Stranger Things episode. This is crazy. It is a metaphysics thing, I guess. I never heard that term before. But you sound like my science professor when I was in college. Oh, God. My science professors are... Man. Had some interesting ones throughout my time, and my math professors and whatnot. Crazy but fun times. Okay, Lied also talks about how the possibilities of, like, if we typed in every single word, we assume 10 seconds per word, so a linear constant for words, because we aren't going to go and just, like, individually count all 170,000 words as times to type them in or whatever, unless we had that on hand. So we'd have to make, like, a linear model in that sense. It would take about 476 hours of continuous work to do all those words. Dave's fingers would be dead. Nobody would die in this VN. Dave's fingers would die.
And that would be the thing that dies in this game. That's how bad it would be. Lots of love and abundance. Blessings, Dirk. Oh, thanks, Chris. I'm assuming that you're saying that because you're like leaving or something, or I don't know. But I take it as a compliment. Thanks, Chris. If that's how long you would take without sleep or with, that would probably be without sleep because continuous work. Like, you're not stopping. No piss breaks, no food breaks, no sleep breaks. You just, every single second, are typing. That's probably what it means by continuous. So you would have to add in, like, eating, sleeping, and whatnot if you want to add time for that. Like, how much within each day. Like, think about how many days the 476 hours would take. Like, think about how many hours you'd want to work within each day. Oh, it'd be crazy. And let's see if 476 hours is divisible. 476 hours divided by 24 hours in a day. That would take you about almost 20 days if you did this continuously. And we're on day 15. We would not have enough time. Like, we would just not have enough time. Finish it. Would your mind even remember what you say from the vault if you haven't slept for that long? That's the thing. It's like, would you be able to even, like, your brain would just be so fuzzy if you're just continuously working. Yes, each can slightly alter the trajectory, and that's kind of what I was trying to explain, but kind of went too complex into. But if I had a whiteboard, I'd be able to better elaborate it by, like, erasing stuff and making it look prettier with colors. But basically, it's like, if I considered the universe events dots as opposed to, like, circles like I just did there, and we were just at, like, point A. Like, if we just had point... Oh, God. Yeah, if we had, like, point A and point C like that. There are many events between point A and point C that could land us within the point C. And then within that in between could also land us anywhere around it. So we have all these, like, different dots and events in between. Oh, God. That we can, like, arrow into, like, if we did guess the passwords and launch ourselves into point C, as in Dave decided to guess all the passwords. I did not draw this well. Excuse my poor penmanship. We could do this, but all those events in between that could possibly lend us to better universes in between could possibly be eliminated. It's kind of like an infinite dimension matrix. You land into one dimension of the matrix by doing those events from, like, A to B to C or whatnot, and you keep going into subsets of the dimensions. So while those events could be fewer than once you end up landing there and you can be more certain, you could be canceling out chances of other things happening. Dave would need 1,515 hour energy drinks. That would be maybe a bit much, but that's the spirit. True, but his troubles would be over by then, wouldn't you say? Well, for that universe. Yeah, and you'd wonder if, like, Orlando's dad or, like, Jack or any of that crime syndicate would, like, bust in before then and somehow get there before then. Like, if we do nothing, there could be a theoretical universal chance that Orlando's dad is on the case for it and, like, is, like, finding where his son is located, busting into that place, getting the vault, and doing that, like, if we do nothing about it. Like, you know, even if we sit there, do nothing, and just try to just sleep through it, or just guess passwords all the time, there's still this outside chance that we could end up just, if we don't do anything, Jack and the gang could end up just wrecking our crap and whatnot. And even with security, they could maybe somehow break things like they did with the power lines with the phones. So there's that issue of, are we going to end up screwing our chances of, you know, being safe by doing nothing?
Like, yes, it may sound safer in the short run and not actively going against whatever's outside, but at the same time, that will lead to more uncertainty. It's like if you do nothing looking for a job, it's much harder for the chance to have a job thrown at you and land into one, as opposed to searching for jobs, getting rejected a bunch of times, and then you're closer than having more credit and then more like experience at finding the proper job, and maybe more exposure to connections. Compared it to a lot of different things in life. Do we really want a universe created by a word like UG or ZE? That would be crazy. Yeah, 2020 would be Anyway, I'm gonna get back to this reading, and I don't think I'm gonna have enough time tonight to like do the Dean route, so I might try and sneak that in tomorrow. Maybe do a sneak little shortcut through day 15, just to gloss and fast forward, just to see how much of it's unique, I guess. But yeah, I just feel bad when I have to like do that with Password, because it's just like Password has a lot of overlap, and that's why it's tough for me to repeat the same things, because then it's like I got other VNs I'm playing at the same time. Like I still have to catch up on Far Beyond the World, then do my D&D thing on Sunday, have my own VN I'm writing, schoolwork. It's crazy. Anyway, I'm going to end this rant in about a minute or two. I might go to the bathroom quickly, so take a minute to go to the bathroom and think about what just happened. I'm going to turn off my mic while I do this, because I don't want you guys to be hearing me go to the bathroom or washing my hands. I swear I'm going to wash my hands. All right, I'm back. The screen turns back onto me. Hello? Not sure if I should have done that as like a edit window and made it smooth over transition, but whatever. Where's my left one? There. You would need multiple universes to keep track of all the VNs, wouldn't you say, Dirk? Yes. And theoretically, we're going to go into more VN lore, but technically, Tennis Ace and Password are in the same universe. So what does this mean for Tennis Ace? Who knows? Can we do the similar
metempsychosis scenarios with Tennis Ace and Yuichi's character roots and his path of being a tennis player, and I don't want to spoil anything about what happens in each of the individual routes, but like what happens with Jun's route, what happens within Shuichi's route, what happens with Keisuke's route, if somehow Dave would have somehow guessed passwords correctly or whatnot, like there's a lot that you could do within that. Dave should have gone to Japan and told Yuichi all the passwords. I don't know. Alright, so we are going to start at 2 hours 50 minutes. So a minute and a half left, just a little minute and a half warning. Please just take your time, Turk. My head's just like, yeah, spinning. I need to take my own time as is. I'm surprised that you aren't tired from playing all of this, Dirk. You're really peppy. I don't know how I'm this peppy. I have an alcoholic beverage next to me, and it's 10 at night. I think the fact that we went into like science and pseudoscience and like theoretical metempsychosis, whatever, got my science brain firing on all cylinders and was like, yo, and then kept me up. This should make a reference to a tennis tournament from Tennis Ace. That would be nice. Speaking of which, at least I know Jun's route, they are at the point where the tennis regionals start. I think Shuichi, they're about to get to it, and same with Keisuke's route. So fingers crossed on those. I can't wait to play those like regionals tournaments. Hopefully you do get to play in the actual regionals tournaments, and it's not just, oh, this is what happened afterwards, or oh, you only make one decision. It just, you know, you just kind of breeze over it. I'm hoping they don't breeze over the actual tennis events. 5 seconds left, and we are starting in 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're back to the reading. So we spent 25 minutes talking. The reading continues now. All right. I finished up eating and took my plate into the kitchen not long after that. While the talk was nice, there was still more to come, and I was eager to get that done sooner rather than later. I headed upstairs, figuring I'd make a beeline for the library. What I didn't expect was Osman to already be in there. So, is now a good time to talk? Are you sure that's all? Are you sure that's wise, all things considered? That talk from earlier is likely still sending waves through your friends. It's sending waves through me. We're only halfway through the month, and now we have 2 solid weeks of wondering if we're in danger. True enough, I suppose. He remained near the window, looking out into the garden and the forest beyond. Is something out there? No, at least nothing I can see. I was just reflecting on how this was where I saw things happen on my way back to the lab. You were here? And then you... I tried to shoot the rabbit. Yes. Thinking about him made me tremble, but wandering over to the window, I could see no sign of his white fur breaking the deep black of the shadows beyond the trees. If you want to have our chat now, we can. Here or in the lab? Do we have any need of that level of privacy? The library would suffice if absolutely need be, but I don't think we do. With my brow furrowed, I tried to think, barely registering him walking past me to shut the door. Take a seat, Dave. If you don't mind, I'll be going first with my questions.
You'll be free to ask as much as you wish when I'm done. All right. Excellent. Now explain to me how you came to find a viral sample and syringe. Was it from your lab? Answer the question first. His stare was intense as his tone, like a father scolding a misbehaving child. When I went out into the woods, I stopped by a river and found it nearby. And it was exactly as you returned it. As far as I know, I didn't use it if that's what you're worried about. He reached over and checked my head with his hand. No fever. Good. His hand lingered through, and just looking at him told me his attention was elsewhere, staring off somewhere far away. Oswin? Oh, yes. Very good. I wouldn't think you'd have any reason to inject yourself with what was in that bottle anyway. What was in that bottle anyway? I still have questions. Wait your turn.
Oh god, this feels like a political debate when one guy's like ranting and his time's up, and the moderator's like, "Sir, your time's up." And he's like, "No, I'm still going." Oh man, U.S. politics, man, be crazy.
Wait your turn. Fine. What's next then?
We'll never know. There we go.
Did you see anyone else out there? Or just who you ran into?
Just him.
And you're sure no one else?
Positive.
He scratched his chin, sighing out. I'd hazard to think that there might be others, but it's hard to say. Who we're dealing with isn't exactly bright.
Sure, that's a good idea to make fun of someone like that. Like I said, U.S. politics.
I said it to his face, and I'd say it again. He only cares about his money and guns.
When you reference American politics twice, the third time you reference American politics, an American with a gun, an American bandana, an eagle screeching behind him appears. And then you get shot. So, say U.S. politics 3 times. I dare you.
I'd say it to his face, and I'd say it again. He only cares about his money and guns. Just a much larger child, really. Spoiled rotten by what I'd assume to be a life of luxury and poor parenting.
Thinks about how Oswald eats children's cereal.
Right, okay. What?
Well, I don't have kids, but I turned out alright, didn't I? So, how hard could it be?
I don't think I quite get what you're implying, Dave. Trust that I have some experience in non-conventional upbringing given the estate.
Any other questions? Before it's my turn?
How far into the woods did you go?
Let me pull out my measuring stick. I found an old watermill. Went inside while trying to avoid him when he was following me for the first time. He tensed up but stayed quiet. Waiting a few moments, I took my chance to ask a question when he didn't respond with anything else. Why?
Why what?
You know what? Why do you care about the mill?
It's a dangerous place with a lot of very old, very, shall we say, fickle machinery. long since abandoned. Sure, but what does it matter if I find it or not? Is something there? No, but it does mark the furthest boundary of the mountain. If you went the other way downstream, you'd likely have hit a sheer cliff. Sure. Good thing we didn't do that with Jack around, because otherwise we would have been on a cliff and nearly died. What about the vial? What specifically about it? Was it one of yours? What was in it? With a sigh, Oswin adjusted his glasses and looked around the room. I'm not certain on the first. The second, however, I can confirm is what's on the label. Okay, but what is it? More importantly, why are you being vague? I'm not being vague. I'm answering your questions, am I not? You're like half answering them at best, and it's annoying. Fine. While the vial did say cryptococcal meningitis, the truth of the matter is that it was more of a straight sample of Cryptococcus nymphormans. Which is... The relevant part is for that it's a type of fungus. Among other things it can cause, well, like the label says, a form of meningitis. Which means it's one of yours. I had to run some tests, but it would appear that way. Same with the syringe? Correct. Was there anything else? Who took you, or who took it? Okay, who took it, do you think? Pardon? Well, I figure that someone must have snuck in and taken it, right? Then used it out in the woods. It was the first time that I saw Oswin at a loss for words. He quickly shifted into the thinking mode, as if I wasn't in the room anymore. Oswin? He ignored me, stroking his beard, shifting between bewilderment, frustration, anger, and finally ending on something that looked like sadness, if only for a moment. Sorry, something I just realized. Realized what? We are all fucked. No, I'm kidding. Just that whoever snuck in must have been very good at infiltration. It's a hard ask to get by Benson and myself in that area of the house undetected. And Roswell? Fuck Roswell. All my homies hate Roswell. I mean, what about Roswell? Well, he was out in the woods. It could have been him that took it, or maybe someone injected him with it? That's not possible, Dave. There was something about how he said it that didn't sit right with me. Almost like he didn't believe the words that came out of his mouth. Why isn't it possible? Roswell's smart. He could have found a way in, or Jack could have jabbed him with a needle when he was sleeping, or... Think about day 2 when he was lost in the forest. Maybe Roswell's hiding that, like he doesn't want to reveal that he saw Jack or knew him, or, yeah, somehow got in contact with him. Like, think about that possibly. Was it day 2? It was like one of the early days. Within like the first 4 days, he got lost in like the forest and we're like, yo, let's get him back with some pie. Yeah, crazy. Koromaru, great to see you here, but I'm going to keep reading because I don't take that many breaks in between my reading sessions unless they're scenes. Anyway, keeping on. First of all, boy, injecting yourself with that sample would have had a very dire effect on your immune system. Something that you'd barely be able to recover from at all, let alone in a couple of days like Roswell did. Make no mistake, I'm talking an infection in the body that is quite literally fatal if left unchecked, and something no mere doctor could just cure overnight. Except for you. You have a lab downstairs and everything. You could just make a cure, right? Medicine is not magic. Same with data science. Data science is not magic. Well, I have quite a few potent things down there, as I am sure you realize now knowing what that sample was. Curing something that potent is a lot harder than inflicting it. So where does that leave us? It means that your suspect on who stole it is as baseless as any guess I could make at this moment. As to who was injected, that is yet to be seen. Roswell doesn't show symptoms he rightfully should after a potential week of being injected. In fact, none of your friends do. Leaving us with the only logical conclusion that no one currently in this house was injected. No? I grumbled, not satisfied. He was right, or at the very least, everything he'd said made sense, but something in my gut was telling me that I had forgotten something very important. Not only that, we had no motive as to why you'd sneak in and steal that of all things. God, okay, fine. Any other questions, boy? Is there anything we could do about the phone reception? Can I please get Flappy Bird back on my phone? Alas, no. Granted, contacting the authorities might help. I feel that given a certain someone's involvement, they won't do us much good. So I'm still asserting that surviving the month is the best way forward. For you? For everyone. Unless you have any other questions or other ideas, I'm all ears. Grumbling, I think of an alternative. I don't know. It's not the most ideal of circumstances, is it? No. It's just so frustrating. I looked at him, and he seemed curious, staying quiet so I could continue. Why us? Why me? This is all just so unfair. Unfair? Right! Well, regrettably, life is sometimes just like that. You may choose to wallow in how this is unfair, or do something about it. I'll tell you now, I don't plan on dying anytime soon. And if you do, that would suck. Then I hope that me dying brings something of value for the rest of you to survive. There are few things worth dying for, Dave. Don't go throwing your life away on some noble quest to be a hero. And yet you're hoping that there's something to gain from you dying? What happened to surviving? You just asked me what happened if I would die. I don't plan on dying, nor do I want to die. I'm just stating fact that if it becomes absolutely necessary, I've already made my peace long before any of you arrived here. Much more than I have. I don't have any peace about my life. Still figuring out my own. Yeah, 911 I think needs phone reception. That's why in horror movies, if like the phone lines are cut off, then you can't call 911. So, anyway. I see. I didn't know what else to say to that, fidgeting on the spot while Austin continued to watch me. It felt like I hadn't gotten anywhere, but maybe it was just something that I had to think about some more. There were clues here, but I didn't know how to piece them together, or what they meant. Would it be best to ask Roswell for help? Orlando? Maybe someone like Sal or Dean to get a different perspective? I figured Tyson and Haas wouldn't be much of a help outside trying to make myself feel better, but that's not what I'm needed right now. Okay, well, I guess just one step at a time. Agreed. He rose from his spot and I followed suit. He opened the passage to the library and watched me carefully. Rest well, Dave. See you in the morning. One last thing before you go. Thanatos, right? Turns out Thanatos is the one behind the saw. He has like the golden glove or whatever. He has the gauntlet. What about him? I know he's... Well... But can we trust him? Would it be worth asking him for his opinion on this? Oswin sighed, scratching his chin. That rat is fickle on the best of days. It'd be something to consider, but I don't think it'd be best to bring him out of the lab just yet. Why not? He's just a rat. That's only half true. For the time being, I feel that it's best that he's just kept in the dark from your friends, lest he incites panic by spilling more information than we are ready for. Like how the vault works on DNA? Among other things. What other things? I'm allowed to have my secrets. Besides, one thing at a time, Dave. Trust that if anything were to be immediately relevant to keeping us alive, I'll let you know. With that, he slowly deteriorized and faded into the void. Never mind, he slowly closed the bookcase behind him and disappeared out of sight. I sighed, running my hand through my fur and wandering back over to the window. The night seemed calm and quiet, but I found myself scanning the shadows for any flash of white out of worry. What if he was just out there waiting for me again? What would he do to the others if they were outside as well? As I continued to watch the darkness, I could see shadows moving. Nothing white in stark contrast to the dark, but there was something moving out there. My heart stopped for a second while I checked for wind and saw the trees swaying. Maybe it was just the wind. Maybe it was just wildlife. Forcing myself to think that it wasn't the worst case scenario, I backed away from the window and headed to my room. Closing the door behind me, I collapsed onto it with a sigh. Things were looking up, right? We were making progress with everything, knowing stuff, and I was getting some answers too, as much as it was draining. If anything, though, I wish I had the capacity to just figure it all out. So many things were just missing, and I didn't know how these puzzle pieces were meant to fit together. It was a good thing I wasn't a detective. It had been a long day, so I stared at my bed, as if it were an old friend, ready to lay down and black out for a bit. But something felt off. A dull throb somewhere in the back of my head was hinting that something was wrong. If what had happened up until this point was any indication, I knew I should at least try to do something about it. I was tired, but I felt responsible for trying to intervene with whatever bad thing may happen. It was the only thing guiding me forward towards the basement and the vault beyond. Fuck, do we have to remember our password? Fuck, what would it have been? As my foot hit the bottom step, I froze, feeling the ground itself vibrate. A deep rumbling before the sound of a large explosion sounded from somewhere far off. Clinging to the railing, I looked around frantic to see if the roof was coming down on us. The next thing I heard, everyone was rushing into the foyer to see what happened.
What happened?
It sounded like an earthquake.
That wasn't an earthquake. There'd be a lot more shaking and a lot less noise.
Roswell helped me to my feet and I turned to the three of them. Is everyone okay?
Us three are fine at least. You?
Stumbled a little, but fine. I turned to the other three who were looking just as alarmed, but otherwise fine. And you're all shirtless. I mean, fine. Oh, Dave, priorities. Oh, lied left. Have a good night. Anyway.
Good to know you're fine. Was just about to get ready for bed when we all heard it, from what I'm guessing.
I'm not the only one assuming that was an explosion, right?
No shit. But why's someone blowing something up now? You're not wondering why an explosion at all?
But we're all safe, right? So who? I trailed off, realization dawning on me. It's Jack! Of course, it had to be. It wasn't Jack that had set off the explosion. I was completely wrong. Had he? Maybe I wasn't. Benson and Oswin marched onto the foyer, looking around at the rest of us. Everyone all right? They look fine to me, Benson. Go find out what that was. Very well, sir. Wait! Why? What if it's, him? Rabbit! Calmly, Benson reached into his waistcoat and pulled out what seemed to be a small revolver. Jet black with a slim design, different from the one that I saw in my vision of his death. Worry not. I'm not planning to go unarmed. But I suggest keeping together for the time being, just in case the worst happens. Without breaking stride, Benson walked right out of the front door with a pistol in hand, closing it behind him. Are we just meant to wait here? I could make everyone some tea or something while we wait.
Is that smart? Like, to split off just like that?
As long as we stay together, we shall be alright. Or at the very least, not going off alone. Alright, well. Hoss, mind giving me a hand with tea?
Is there anything we should do while we wait? We won't need weapons, will we?
I do not believe so.
Alright, well, I guess all we can do is wait it out. Benson's going to be alright too, right?
All things considered, I believe he'll be fine. Even without a gun, Benson is more than capable. For now, it's as you say. We can only wait until he returns. And so we did. The time ticked by while we waited for Benson to return. And to think this update would have ended a few minutes ago. Some of us had tea to try and calm our nerves, but my eyes were trained on the front door. Listening for the sound of a gunshot or anything else that might hint the danger was nearby. Watching for the very moment Benson would come through the door, worried that he might not. Before I knew it, though, the front door opened again. We all stood the moment we heard the handle, assuming the worst. But sure enough, I have some grave news to deliver. It's gonna be the road. If you've played Path C or D or whatever it is, you know it's the road. I have some grave news to deliver. How bad is it? Benson puts his gun away and strokes his mustache, looking at each of us in turn. There's no positive spin I can put on this to say plainly, so I'll say it plainly. The road that heads down the mountain is no more.
Gone? How?
Are you sure? Maybe you just didn't see it properly on account of... I assure you the road is gone. A combination of a landslide and likely what we all heard before thoroughly destroyed a large section of road. But, how are we meant to get home? Will we be able to eventually? Like, is the damage that bad?
Phones are out. The road is gone. Someone really doesn't want us leaving, do they?
Is this my fault?
No, of course not.
Right. This is... Orlando sighed, rubbing his fingers through his mane. I don't know what this is. Well, all things considered, there's not much we can do about it now. And given the time and the lack of light, there's no safety to be had investigating it right now. It will need to wait until morning. What are we meant to do? Just go back to bed and pretend nothing was wrong? Regrettably, that's exactly what I'm proposing. Partner up if you need be for the comfort or safety in numbers. He stroked his mustache again, thinking things over. I had a feeling I knew what he would say before he came out with it. It stands to reason that someone should keep watch, and that person makes sense to be me.
We can't ask that of you. We should take turns.
And what would you mean to do? I'm the only one currently armed, and given the potential assailant, it'd be best if someone trained were to deal with the problem should it arise.
As he clacks his gun. Do you need to sleep at some point? But you need to sleep at some point, right? He flashed a tired smile before shaking his head gently. When you lived as old as I have, you find yourself needing less sleep in the interest of enjoying what time you have left. Dean and Tyson nodded to one another, seemingly sold on Benson's choice before heading upstairs. Roswell was soon behind them, looking thoughtful. Then Haas after he gave Benson a careful look. Are you really sure?
I really don't mind staying up if need be.
Do not worry about me. I have things I need to attend to anyway. This just gives me a chance to do that, and it won't impact keeping you all safe. Sal reluctantly nodded, and he made to leave, pausing to take Orlando by the hand until he was following him upstairs of his own accord. It's at that point that I noticed Oswin was just gone. Having moved on already to bed, I assumed. Run along now, Dave. It's alright. Yeah. Alright. Good night, Benson. Good night. See you in the morning. Giving Benson one last look, I headed upstairs, hoping that he'd be alright. I wanted to head to bed, to just lay down and get some sleep, but I found myself going to autopilot towards a different room instead. God damn it. Oh, that was gonna be the vault. If it was the vault, I'd be like, God damn it, I'd have to memorize a password. In one motion, I opened the door and closed it behind me with one foot. Or my own foot, that is.
Dave!
My reply came in the form of just marching forward and hugging him tightly around the chest, almost clinging desperately to him. It was the second time that I'd done this in a couple days, but I didn't care. He was one thing that I thought of when I needed comfort, and I needed that now more than anything else. His hands found my shoulders and patted me gently, possibly still stunned from how suddenly I barged into the room. Hug me back properly. He peeled my arms from around him and wrapped his arms around me in the same way I'd done to him.
Better?
I hugged him back around the neck, rubbing my cheek against his and sighing out. I'm scared.
Yeah?
What if...
Hey, it's fine. I'm scared too.
We squeezed each other tight before I pulled away enough to look him in the eye. Can I stay here with you? Just for the night?
Why the fuck would I say no?
I don't know.
God, you're hopeless.
He let me go and wandered away to turn off the light, watching as I crawled into the bed and leaving the covers pulled back from him. Once the light was off, he crawled in next to me and I lay flat on my back, and he laid flat on his back, staring at the ceiling.
You gonna be alright?
Yeah. Not the first time we've shared a bed.
Won't be the last, probably.
Meaning?
Meaning roll the fuck over.
He flipped me around so my back was to him and he cuddled me from close behind, pressing himself as close as he could to get to me. He sighed out quietly next to my ear and lightly rubbed my chest.
Good night, Dave.
Night, Tyson. I thought we called him Ty. Oh, this is off. Something feels off. Soon after that, the exhaustion caught up to me, and I fell asleep in the arms of who mattered most to me at that moment. That's the end of demo. Okay, save. Scroll, scroll, scroll. We are still unknowing of our path. All right. End of story at 3 minutes and 25 seconds. Well, 3 hours and 25 minutes. My bad. And update. Well, guys, that is the end of the password update. And my god, that was a lot to unpackage. Quite an exciting update in my opinion. Like it felt like it was, like, stuff happened, but day 14 kind of felt like a little bit of a step back. Day 13 was the forest, I think, right? Yeah, day 13 was the forest, but yeah, day 14 is more of a reflective episode. Day 15, things are really starting to hit the fan with how real this is gonna be for us. Oh god, my head's gonna hurt from reading this for this long and going to conspiracy theories. Oh, and the tiredness is just getting to me. I'm sorry, it's like almost 11 at night here. But yeah, I really like the whole new save layout. Like, I want to try that with my own, like, VN. I probably won't get to that until I actually make routes. I'm working on the volleyball map for it as is, so that's taking up a bunch of time. But making a ton of good progress on that at least, so. But that one's gonna look pretty nice. I'm just trying to figure out the mechanics of it at the moment. I got the actual assets laid out and stuff. It's just implementing them into the game itself is what I'm doing now. So then, might we get your conspiracy stream, eh? I imagine you need time to get the corkboard. Oh, I do. I also need to go binder, I think, for like one of my classes, because the books that they give for it are like, they're like the hold punch ones where they don't give you like an actual like binding to it. Like you have to buy the binder yourself to put it in. I hate those types of books, but this one class or one set of classes I've been doing has been doing that for me lately. But yeah, that would be a fun podcast to do or some chill video to do. It's like, I'd love to gather a bunch of just like my friends and just chat about that who have played Password.
Oh, that was deep. I enjoy all the possibilities. Also, how are you able to plan all this out without being tired?
Well, it's not as much playing as in just powering through the update. But, yeah. I mean, just doing it, I guess. That's the plan. I just do it.
And here, Dave's screen menu. I love the Dave screen menu. It's nice. I don't know if Dean has a screen on the menu. I know that Orlando, okay, I don't know if there's any other. Okay, there's memories and there's trauma. Oh, God. Yeah, there's memories and I think we're on memories. This is the trauma. This is memories. Ah, that's annoying. It doesn't highlight it for you. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't show the menu art. That's strange. I need to still figure out how to implement that for my own game, but I gotta worry about that later, because, oh God, I have a lot to do already for it. If you do said stream, pick February to do it. February 2nd to do it. Groundhog Day for appropriateness. Oh, that would be just perfect. Let me see what day of the week that is. I'm gonna check my phone, actually. I don't want to mess with stuff with my computer. Okay, that's a Tuesday. Actually, I could do Tuesdays. Because I have classes Monday and Wednesday. And Tuesdays are kind of my more open-ended day. And then I got... Oh. Sorry, I just realized that one of my relatives who does, like, music, he made a music video, and it's in my aunt's house. Oh, God, and we have a ton of stories about that aunt in particular. She's awesome, like, you know. She's an awesome person, but it's like, you know. It's like we have humorous relative stories. But anyway. Galleries take a while to get working. Speaking from experience, I agree. And I Googled like, oh, how do people set them up? Or I just looked at other games codes for reference to see what they did, just to get myself some sort of like base understanding for how I would approach it. Yeah, it's tough because you have to figure out how the menu works. And then from there, do the gallery and add that as a setting to like the main menu. And then I'm not sure if like, you could do things where it's like you make it false if it's like a game menu thing. And yeah, because I know when you do in-game menus, it's like you have so many options in the in-game like drop-down menu or whatever menu you make. And yeah, you have to set however many options for that. Then you also have the regular menu, which is this, where it's, you know, stuff that you don't see when you're playing the game, or not all of them are the same. Yeah. It's hard for me to think about because I'm getting more tired as we speak, but I love art galleries, and I've tried starting to make a music gallery. I just need to figure out how to implement the music with it. I gave credits on there, but I just need to do actual, like maybe the play button or whatnot, and like actually build like windows for them to actually play each audio like song. Yeah, that's something we'll figure out eventually, but like I said, I'm only in like I'm only in like working version 3. Like we just released version 2 like a couple weeks ago, like a week or two ago. And it's like, it's a lot to start. Oh God, you're making me jealous. I just finished consuming 2 large bowls of popcorn. God, I wish I had popcorn here. I'm out of popcorn. Most I have are my Nutella sticks and 1 thing of pretzels and then some kettle chips or whatever from Costco. And Dean's, I need to play Dean's update. Probably after this. Maybe I'll try and quickly hammer it in on Saturday. I'm probably gonna like... shoot, I feel terrible if I like just skim through too much of it. I don't know, I might put it up to a poll. I might just do it where I skim through things. I mean, the thing is, it's more so for me playing through it is just, if I have the time, I might go through it a little more slowly, but yeah,
if it's as long as this update, it's gonna probably take me some good time. Aside from my rants, of course, but still, even then, it probably was about 2-ish hours, give or take. Maybe 2 hours and a half with all the reading that I just did. Felt like a reasonably long update, in my opinion. And normally, password updates are kind of in the middle in terms of length. Like, they're not short like the smoke room updates or any type of like Echo project update, but they're not like 10 essays or Far Beyond the World where they're ginormous updates all the time, and you have to pretty much invest your whole time of the day to like play those. This you could do in the evening, but only like one at a time. Yeah, I want something more substantive. Yeah. But yes, I'm going to drink from the game mug one last time and then log off. Oh, don't forget to redo your save files when you get the chance before future password streams so you don't cause yourself stress like earlier, Dirk. No worries, because I already did that earlier in this stream. Page 6 is Tyson saves. Page 8 are Dean saves. And then the saves in between, I think this was like the alternate path. I think it may have been Tyson's that I did the alternate path on. But yeah. I like the colors of it so much. It looks so aesthetic. Ah, it's nice. I don't know if it would fit exactly with kind of the grunginess of the password main menu, but nonetheless, I love this style. It just looks so smooth and clean. And it makes me jealous because I'm probably gonna have to do that with mine maybe sometime, or I don't know, maybe relay mine out. I'll have to figure out maybe if I want to do it as like that type of V-box or whatnot and see what the current code I have for it is. But like I said, I should probably worry about that down the road. Don't cram too much into like your early updates unless you are doing all the GUI stuff before you post the story content. Like, don't overwhelm yourself is my advice with this type of, like, if you're making a VN, don't overwhelm yourself while you're writing the story. Don't be like, okay, I'm gonna write a story update and change all this GUI and, you know, change all this layout, blah, blah, blah. Like, be able to kind of compartment it, be able to do like one step at a time with that. Like, okay, this release update is gonna be just the story or just new certain GUI elements, like just something for the credits or just something for the music room or whatever. Like, that's my advice on that, because it's so easy to get overwhelmed by this when you see like what people do. Even me sitting there and looking at this, it's like wow, look at how far they've gotten. But yeah, it's like when you do an update and do something that you have a goal for the update, do that thing and do it well. Like, do it with your best effort. Put your best foot forward on that. Don't be caught between two different strings, stretching yourself thin and ending up having to half-ass it. I like that we got a lot more Tyson exclusive content. I agree on that, and I'm assuming if it's the Dean route, it's going to be Dean exclusive when we play that. So that's the thing I'm excited for, because day 13 and day 14 were pretty much just same route all around. Like, they seemed very similar. This day seems like it can be able to veer off, like, especially if we're not doing the stuff with Tyson. Like, yeah, that's gonna be interesting. One thing, do you have all of this set up automatically, or do you have to reset it every time? Are you talking about the saves or the stream, like, setup, like setting up Streamlabs and then opening up password? Because, like, the games themselves are already, like, you know, I saved them, but I always have to, like, open up, like, Streamlabs, open up the password game, make a thumbnail. Like, it takes, like, I'd say about 10 minutes, 15 minutes for me to kind of do all that before I start streaming. And then I spend another 10, 15 minutes afterwards, maybe like re-editing the thumbnail so it's an actual post-stream thumbnail, and then edit some comments or the title. Yeah. And then ads. So yeah, probably 10, 15 minutes before, 10, 15 minutes after.
any particular part of Discord. Not sure what that's referring to. I had somebody say, I was like, I'm not sure if they said like a hunger. Like somebody tried to gush over me, and I was like, oh boy, don't know if I should read it out loud, but this is a bit more tame. Dirk is kind of cute. Thanks. I mean, I feel like I don't try that hard just because it's like pandemic quarantine and I'm not going out anywhere. Like I don't really have anybody I'm going out to. Sometimes I don't really see anybody in a week. Like unless I go out to like maybe shop or get groceries or something, I don't really see anybody. And I kind of like it that way personally for now. Like I kind of am more of an individual type of personality, but I still like hanging out with like the friends time to time. And the thing I missed with the pandemic is like not getting to play as much volleyball, because that's where I get my physical like stress out and just that physical anxiety. But yeah. Yeah, Mogram is asking for the coat of arms. Oh, where might I send it? Is this like a physical thing? If it's a physical thing, you can DM me on Discord or Twitter. I don't like giving out my address just to anybody publicly, and I don't want anybody like leaking it if they already know mine. Like if I ever do, I've only given it to like one other person so far, so and it's like I know them well enough that they're the ones that sent me the red panda plush, and so yeah, that would be really nice. I mean, it would be like sent to like my studio if it was a physical item, but you could also if it's just an electronic thing or digital, I guess, then yeah, just DM it to me on my Discord or Twitter. You can even post it and at me or whatever. I'll save it as my fan art. Nah, just a pic. Okay, cool. I was nervous I'd have to reveal my address. But yeah. Yeah, if you want, most likely Twitter, I'll see it easier. But yeah. The plush was adorable. Yeah. He's still back there behind the covers. Kind of yonder, just chilling there. So soft, though. Get a P.O. box. P.O. boxes are expensive. Like, damn, they're expensive. They're like, I think it's like $100 for like 6 months. For like even one of the smaller sizes. It's crazy how expensive a P.O. box is. And if I'm only doing it like a couple of times or whatnot and not getting like constant or consistent like fan mail, like it's not a big thing, then I just don't feel comfortable revealing my address for that. Or well, and I don't feel comfortable getting a P.O. box is what I mean. Like I just feel like it'd be too much money on me. And I'd be like losing money as opposed to like even making money from this. Fear not, I'm crazy, but not that crazy. Can relate. Oh, Perpy's back. Hi, Perpy. We just ended the stream, and I am super tired. It's 11 p.m. And after this, I'm probably gonna just conk out. Try not to do what I did last night and end up staying up later than I should have and sleep in late. But, man. What a stream this was. We'll have to go into some conspiracy theories sometime. We'll finish Dean's. Maybe I'll do 4 days worth of streams in a row. Probably finish Dean's. Do a quick hammer through stream of Dean's roots tomorrow, maybe. I really want to do another Far Beyond the World update soon, because that's the only one that I really am behind on and really want to like push through. It's still all hot. God damn it. Thanks. Good night, Dirk. Sweet dreams. Never again I'm staying up all night. I've done that to myself once for one of my YouTube videos, the Eurovision one. The first Eurovision one, the one about the 1980 contest. And boy, was that such a long thing to edit. It was entertaining, but I just knew, I'm like, I don't think I could sustain this and do it again, because people weren't interested, and I was still busy with school, and yeah, it was just a lot of work. What do you do with the money I donate? Well, I would probably invest some in stuff like maybe food and groceries and just, stuff for living. I'd say maybe invest some of it in savings. Maybe donate some of it, or, well, not just donate, but maybe have them pay some people for, like, commissions to, kind of give back to the art community. I haven't gotten it yet, Perpy. That's the thing. I talked about this at the beginning of the stream. My tax info is still pending. And I was worried because it sounded like, oh, the IRS rejected it on the form for when they say it on Google. But it turns out it does that for everyone, and that they have to manually do it for everybody. And it takes them like a couple of days to like a week or two. So, yeah. It's gonna take some time before I can actually get through, and fingers crossed it goes before the 21st, because that's their day that they say like, oh, the 21st, I think, is kind of when they want it confirmed by in order to give it to you by the end of the month. Otherwise, I'd probably have to wait another month, and that would be miserable. And I just tried to get into contact with like Google support, but they didn't provide me an email, and I'm really sad. If YouTube is watching this, or Google or whatever, give me an email for your AdSense. Don't just make me go to the community board and do that when I Google AdSense email. Give me an email page, or give me a contact page that says, here's the email, email us at this email. Don't just be like, oh, you have this problem? Talk to the community. It's like, that's not consistent. People are not going to respond as fast. And it's like, I know I look at their stuff, but what if I want somebody to look at my individual case to be confirming, like, yes, we'll get it before the 21st, or yours is going in faster, or yours is going in slower, just so I know how my personal one is. But yeah. Anyway. Next month I'll donate a lot more. Oh no, Perpy, don't stretch yourself thin. And don't stress out, Perpy. Amen, quote God. Oh yeah, Q&A. Oh man, I should be doing the Discord Q&A. God, that's something I should add to like a list of things I should do. Like maybe I should do that like on Fridays before my streams. Maybe that'll help me be on time for my streams for once. Try Twitter or YouTube. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Discord would be a better place to do the Q&As. But yeah, I think a Discord Q&A would be kind of fun. I'm not sure if I would do it as a voice call or as like this where it's like a chat. Because I don't know if I had a bunch of people on the call how messy that could get. It'd be very hard to control. It's like cats in a whatever the phrase is, just like cats. Cats are hard to tame. Yeah, I'll talk to Koro about it because, like I said, he's the mod for my Discord, and he's still figuring out some technical issues with his own computer situation, and he said once he gets that figured out, he'll be able to help me out with more of my stuff, such as my March Madness bracket, which is in the description below if you want to help us sort out the rankings. There's 3 categories. The first one's VNs, and I'm still trying to look for a committee for that to help me write descriptions for characters. Then there's the non-VN category, and then there's Best Girl. I'm probably going to keep the Best Girl and the VN category for sure. I don't know if I'll have the time to do the non-VN one. Herding cats, that's what the term was. Thanks. Alright. Oh man, I donate $50 for it. Please don't tempt me with money like that. I'm not gonna do stuff because people throw money at me. Yeah, geez, Perfect, chill. Oh man. But yeah, I mean, once again though, like I need to make sure I find the time to do it, but I need to add that as a higher priority for me because yeah, I've kind of slacked on my Discord and people have been commenting on that. But yeah, speaking of slacking off and getting tired, I am getting pretty dang tired now, so last call for any questions before I log off. and do my outro. Alright, that's it. Oh, just some good nights. We love you, Dirk. Thanks, Malcolm and Perpy. Thanks, Quote God. Goodbye, Dirk. Have a good sleep. How many VNs are you currently playing? 4 or 5? Yeah, I'm playing 5 actually. 5 to 6. Okay. Officially on my YouTube, I am playing... Okay, 1, 2... I'm actually playing... Holy crap. I'm technically playing 8. But VNs like ICO and Chemia don't update every month, and so there's a lot more breaks in between those. Oh no, I'm only playing 7, never mind. Password's there twice. Yeah, but I'm playing 7. But 2 of those are like fi to tri-monthly, like once every 2 or 3 months, so the monthly ones are about 5. If you include Far Beyond the World and then Wolfstar, which is going to be more of a chilled, laid-back when I can get to it type of thing. Like, it's going to be more of an easy, laid-back, After Dark type of Twitch stream for me, because then I can do mature audiences on there and still be able to allow donating on there while playing it. So, yeah. I have a lot, so that's why when people suggest other novels, as much as they sound great, I just have so much on my hands with that, in addition to like the other stuff that I do, so yeah, that's where I have to cut it. But see ya. Good morning from Europe. Oh man, I can't believe it's morning for you guys. It's like the 8-hour difference. It's night here. But yes, one last thing, you mentioned Twitch. Yes, I have a Twitch, Dirk the Red Panda, no spaces. And I think it's all lowercase. I do D&D on there bi-week, or every other week, not bi-weekly. I do D&D every other Sunday, 4 p.m. Pacific time. Yeah, and then Wolfstar, Sins in Paradise is gonna be on there now. Yep, got it. Thanks, Magram. Alright, so, this is the final outro, the 3-hour and 50-minute mark. After a long... crazy stream with so many theoretical pseudoscience possibilities and universes. That is all I have for this episode, and until next time, take care, guys.